Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Wait, do me a favor and just stab him.
No.
His Twitter says he's a mimic. I don't trust him anymore.
Oh, I need to change my thing. Is that what you put on yours? Okay.
Mimic version of me.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Board Game House. It is Friday. You survived your week. Congratulations. Hello, Kat. Hello, G. Hello, Rennie. How are you lovely folks doing this evening? Tonight, we're going to do at least one, probably two, maybe 3 boxes of Blair Witch. We only have 3 left, so...
Unless we get fucking stood up like we did last time.
So we'll see what happens. Should be a lot of fun. A few quick announcements. Everyone that we work with is down below us. Check them out. If you missed Wednesday's stream, it is up on the YouTube already, along with the first session of playing this, and this will be up there soon. Also, all of our sessions of our Curse of Straw campaign, which are now 5, are all up on YouTube as well. So watch them. Are we out of focus? Or is it just me?
I don't know.
I think
We
it's
can't
just
tell.
because that one light's off.
Okay.
Let me spin this. It might help.
I don't know.
Just to get more light on Steven.
I actually fixed the one part. But yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on announcements because I do want to actually get into this and get as many of these done as we can. But yeah, check out our YouTube. Also, we're only at 25 followers away from 1,600 followers here. So if you're new or enjoy the content, hit the follow button.
Please.
Last time on Hunt a Killer Blair Witch, the little brother got took.
Little brother did get took.
So, oh yeah, and by the way, spoilers if you haven't been following along. So pretty much, in the first session, we figured out that Liam, the boy that's missing,
Shit.
went
Help
to.
me.
He was fucking around in a haunted museum.
Well, in the history museum. And then in the second episode, we figured out that the man or the thing that they are looking for is called the Carver.
Yeah.
And the third session, we figured out that Liam went back and got his little brother, Skunk.
Yeah.
And that is where we left off.
Oh,
Oh, that's a compass.
we have things.
That's a magnifying glass, probably.
Yeah. We have.
That's a compass.
That's metal. It's not even plastic.
Hold on. Is it actually?
So, start the music.
No, because we're not starting there.
All right. Hello.
Do I have it up here? I don't know if I have it ready. You read that. I'll get the music going.
Hello. I already have a headache. I don't mean that. Carver left me another message a few nights ago. He left a note right on my front doorstep. Of all the sick, invasive, downright evil things to do, hasn't the son of a bitch done enough to me? When will I have suffered enough? When I think about him slithering around out in the woods, looking at my house from the tree line and peering into my windows, my head gets light and I get so nauseated that I feel as though I might be dying. I can't sleep at all anymore. What?
At least she's not getting turned on by it.
That's true. Every night I just sit up on the porch or in Tristan's bed with Hud's old shotgun in my lap until the sun finally rises. Sometimes I'll hear a noise in the night and run toward it, finally ready to pull the trigger on this lunatic, but it's only ever the wind. I haven't shown Lanning Carver's message. It'll just get sent off to some lab where it'll gather dust on a shelf for months, if not years. Even if it gets fast-tracked, what good will it do? The sheriff's office already knows where he is, and they're still not finding him. The force is too huge and confusing for them to handle. It's time to take this completely into my own hands. Like I should have from the beginning. She is gonna die. She is this whole... we're not gonna save this family. Like, have we all come to this conclusion? Because I've came to that conclusion.
Seems kind of a negative approach, but okay.
Okay. There's no point in spending another second in this house. Or this town. My sons aren't here. They're in that forest. Carver's only gotten cockier over the past few months. At this point, he wants me to come out and find him. Something in that note has to give some sort of context as where he's hiding. Luckily, even if the lead is obscure, we've got a bona fide expert on the Black Hills Forest on our side. It took a while to convince Anthony to help me collect what we need. He kept trying to talk me down at first.
Trust him.
Eventually, I had to grab him by the shoulders, look him dead in the eyes, and tell him that there's already one man standing between my sons. That one man is already one too many, and that friendship or no, I'm prepared to bring that number to 0 by any means necessary. That finally convinced him to relent. Anthony gathered most of what I'm sending you from the museum attic. He said that since the forest is so dangerous, my best chance of making a successful journey out there was to study the accounts of people who made trips deep into the woods and lived to tell the tale. You'll need to cross-reference the map with the historical accounts Anthony has given us and find the location of Carver's hiding place. When you figure it out, submit the correct map coordinates on the tip line at... Even though I'm not going to be totally alone out there, I have faith that the help I get from the outside is going to see me through. Rosemary. Hi, Greggles!
Making sure that she's not starting to pass us notes in code.
Okay, so here's the note from the Carver. The boys keep calling out into the woods for you, and you never answer them. You've really been letting them down over these past few months, haven't you? In fact, you've been letting them down for their entire lives. Never able to protect them, to comfort them, to realize the depth of their pain. At least now you'll never be able to fail them again, either. Remember when you would play hide-and-seek with Liam when he was little? How he would always hide in the roots of that gnarled old tree at the very edge of the forest? I'd watch from the tree line, seeing you pretend to search everywhere, even though he always hid in the same place. I'm sure you wish it was that easy now, but this game is going to be a fair measure more challenging. You're not going to be able to just waltz into the woods and stumble upon the light of my campfire. That's not what she wants. She wants you to suffer, and so do I. But if you're smart enough, maybe you'll be able to find your way to your sons. Maybe you'll even get a glimpse of dear old Hud. Oh, and in case you haven't figured it out yet, there's a reason that your search parties have failed to find me for so long. Sunlight conceals the truth of the forest. To see the light of my fire, you have to enter after dark.
Ew.
I don't need to tell you to come by yourself. I already know you will. And then there is
code.
That cipher. Yeah.
I'm just going to do this real quick.
Do you have
Hi, Greggles!
Tweezers?
pliers?
What the fuck did you do?
It wasn't working. I'm checking the batteries. I can't get them to go in straight. Do you got like needle nose?
Like these?
Oh yeah.
We have a letter from Anthony. Investigator, since Rosemary is truly hell-bent on doing this, and you're the one who's managed to help her get this far already, I'm going to do everything in my power to arm both of you with as much information as possible. I collected a few things I think will help you navigate the forest. 3 historical documents, a map, a magnifying glass, and a compass. The 3 historical documents have each been taken from the museum's archives. I'm including them because they each convey the experience of someone who spent a prolonged period of time in the forest and came out more or less intact. I hope they'll provide some guidance on how to get your bearings in the woods and how to navigate between 3 of its major landmarks, in particular, once you do. I imagine the map and its accompanying instruments will be useful on that front as well. As far as I'm aware, the map itself is the most geographically accurate account of the forest to date. That's including satellite imagery. Digital imaging of the area has always been proven to be a challenge. There's actually a very interesting history behind the map and the man who made it. Emmanuel Ramos was a renowned surveyor and cartographer who was hired by a now defunct sawmill to chart out the area in 1953 after a number of the facility's employees began to complain that none of the maps in the area were accurate. As the story goes, Ramos became obsessed with the forest during that period. When he turned in the map, he told sawmill officials that traditional directions don't work in the forest, and that instead travelers had to move according to the cues that the land itself gives them. He said he considered the cues to be cardinal. That strikes me as a melodramatic way to describe the cartographic process, but I suppose that he'd earned the right in that point, seeing that he successfully charted a region that had confounded his colleagues for centuries. The record on Ramos gets a little hazy after that. He completely fell off the map, so to speak, within a year of completing the project. The compass and the magnifying glass I'm passing on to you belong to Ramos as well. Maybe using them will help you see the forest the same way he did. All right. I admit that I'm rambling on about obscure historical facts so I don't have to put my feelings into words. Detective, I want you to know that Rosemary is the strongest person I've ever met. She's managed to stand so tall for so long in the face of such unbelievable loss. But at the end of the day, she's only human, and the forces she's going up against aren't. Please do the best you can to see her through this. Anthony.
So hi, Arliel.
Hi, Arliel.
Sending hello to you. By the way, on the back of this is etched each square an hour.
Each square an hour. All right.
But this, the thing is, the etching, and this could just, I don't know if it's just the font they decided to use. It looks close to Carver's
Oh, you think
handwriting.
Carver could be...
But it didn't come from Carver. That's the thing.
Carver and Liam's handwriting also looks.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It could just be like.
But this looks etched. Most people's handwriting looks the same when you have to etch like this. Each square an hour.
All right, so we have.
Do you want to start deciphering this code, Derek?
Yes, I absolutely can. This is a very shitty compass.
Yes. I have a feeling we'll be using it for degrees, not necessarily for putting north and south.
Sure. Let's see.
Here's the cipher.
What is this?
It's pretty short.
What this is Carver's.
It's a Carver
second
cipher.
notes.
Yeah. And it's the funky one, so. Alright, so here's the map.
Oh, let me switch over so people can actually see what we're looking at. Oh, hold on.
Every time.
So we're looking at an hour per square.
Hour per square, yes. Alright. So here's Burkittsville.
This music's a little intense.
And then we have... Where'd it go? Is it underneath the map? This would be, yeah. We have a building records, an account of a search party exhibition, and then the script for the historical reenactment. He's given us notes. Where do we want to start?
I'm interested in this for some reason.
Well, it's got writing on it. It says she wants me to build window in the attic, stone foundation, stick built. She told me the spot, plaster interior, cement exterior, and then she needs a she needs a basement. She expects company soon. So I'm assuming this sounds like the witch's house.
Mm-hmm.
But there's stuff on the back. So,
There's a note from Anthony.
oh, so there is a note from Anthony on this. This is an architectural drawing complete with a series of handwritten notes that's been on file at the museum ever since Kip's hardware depot collapsed in the mid-1940s due to a devastating infestation of parasites and mold that the original owners couldn't afford to repair. The lot stood empty until Mike and Bob's convenience store was built in 1951. It pains me to part with this piece of local history, but I don't think that anyone in the museum besides me will even notice its absence, and I know that you're going to put it to good use. A. So, it says, Mr. Kip. A fella stopped by the store as I was closing up just now. Damn near gave me a heart attack, since I could have sworn that I'd already locked the front door. It was that guy who's been living out in the woods. Can't for the life of me remember his name, even though I swear that he introduced himself to me. He bought supplies, nails, shingles, things like that, said that his place was damn near falling apart. Drew me a picture and made some notes so that I could get an idea of the scope of the project. Said he might come tomorrow morning for more supplies. Want to give you a heads up about it in case you're the only one in, because frankly, he doesn't seem to be entirely right in the head. He was caked in dirt, and there were all manner of rotting leaves and pieces of sticks tangled in his beard, and he kept trailing off in the middle of his sentences. But surprisingly, he had enough money, and with the way business has been lately, I could hardly turn a customer away. Ned. P.S. Where'd all the scrap paper that we usually keep under their counter go? I went to look for something to write a note on, but this drawing was the only paper on hand.
No, so, I'm sorry. I was doing the code. What is this?
This is a building that burnt down or collapsed,
Okay.
but
Looks like it's from the 30s or the 40s.
correct. But this is a drawing from a guy that was that's living out in the woods.
Yeah.
So these are his notes on the front. So somebody was telling him to build something.
Name a Ned or Kip.
Neither one.
Who are these people?
Kip and Ned are people that work in the hardware store back in like the 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
The original hardware store.
Okay. On Carver's note, it says... I have to be specific because it's a riddle. Find us where a shred of property was lost. Carver.
Okay.
So keep an eye on that one while we're deciphering this little story.
Mr. Kip, you're not going to believe this just now. I was closing down the store when I heard a dull scratching sound coming from the wall behind the register. Remember last spring when rats got in the walls? It sounded like that, so I headed to the basement to get the traps. I was only away for a few seconds, but when I came back upstairs, the hermit was in the store again. He was scraping something along the wall with a rusty old knife. I hollered at him to cut it out. He stopped, but he didn't even apologize, just turned around and demanded that I sell him a shovel because she needed his basement to be deeper. Can't believe a guy like that managed to land himself a wife. I had him pay extra on account of the damage he did to the wall.
Wait a minute. I know that building. This is the building from the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah. Looks like he carved a bunch of stick figures. Would you mind painting over those when you get the chance? I'll do it myself right now, but it's late, and frankly, I've got a pretty bad case of the heebie-jeebies just looking at the things right now. Ned. Mr. Kip, guess I can just use this sheet as a running log of hermit updates. He visited again towards closing today. He said he needed an extra pair of hands to help him with a project because it needed to be done fast. Offered me a good amount of money to help him out on my day off from the store, tomorrow. And I said yes. Thought I'd let you know just in case. And don't worry, I'll be bringing my hunting knife just in case he really is off his rocker, as people around town say. Mr. Kip.
Arrows on
This one has a lot of arrows. I know it's my day off, but I stopped by to tell you to ban that hermit from the store. Guess you're out on your lunch break, but listen, the man's a menace. I met him on the edge of the forest at sunrise today to walk up to his house. We started on the path to the lumber mill, but soon veered off from the path entirely. We walked in one direction for what I would judge to be 5 hours. As we walked, the hermit would occasionally mutter under his breath to himself, like he'd completely forgotten that I was there at all. I could barely hear what he was saying, but I thought that I could make out something about heading toward the hoard of bones.
Oof.
We eventually reached a stream, and when we did, it was like he suddenly remembered that I existed again. He turned to me and he started talking about how there's a part of the forest where she pinned the shadows in place with pine needles, and that he made sure to build his place as far away from them as he could. He said that his cabin was another 3 hours down the river away from the still shadows. He told me that I should count myself lucky that I wouldn't have to see those shadows just yet. Maybe it was just because I was spooked, but in the moment it sure as heck sounded like a threat. I made some excuse about forgetting that my ma wanted me home by lunch and said that I couldn't help him out with his repairs after all. Then I all but ran back to town. I just thought you should know that I'm not going to be serving him anymore. If he comes into the store again, I'm just going to hide out in the basement until I hear him leave. I know that's not very professional, but it's the only thing I think I'll be able to do if I see him again, and that's God's honest truth. I'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Kip. Ned.
Okay, so we have a couple of things here.
Hate that shit.
So they're headed towards the lumber mill, which is up here.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, they turned off
They're on the path
towards
to
the lumber mill.
This is a road. So somewhere here they turned off.
Well, and they went towards, they said something about a pile of bones. And he said 5 hours. So each square is an hour. And then he said, well...
Yeah, but we also know...
There's a thing about bones over here on this, written down here.
We also know that time does not work.
Right.
I know, but they said this is the most accurate, and with
Right.
with the compass saying a square equals an hour, the fact that it said 5 hours and then 3 hours, meaning 8 hours total, to me, that means that it is 8 hours off of this path.
That's words there.
And there's words all over this thing. There's words here, there's words here, there's words here.
Forks of lightning erupt from the clear sky.
What is this?
Random. This one here says, "Here I saw the eyeless creatures hoard their bones."
Yep.
This one up here is a long one. It says, I can't make it out because the writing is the same color as the forest. I hear something. Climb the oak trees and keep into the air and leap into the air, but I will not give in.
There's something up there.
Hear the vermin fester in the bleak sunlight, but I dance under the light of the moon. It's written in a circle. This one says, the crows feed at blood-red dusk. I don't like this.
Let me see it. There's some over here. I'm trying to read them.
There's one up there that...
Yeah. All right. This one says the ground with its dreadful mud, or I can't see what that word is. Will cradle careless travelers for eternity.
Sure.
Well, murmurs. Sorry, it says with its dreadful murmurs. The sky shines bright.
Who made this map?
Ramos.
The sun and something. The sun and the moon are nowhere to be seen.
Starts over here.
Yeah. The heavy limbs of trees are scarred with chew marks and carvings.
Okay, don't like it up there.
Though the sun moves through the sky, the shadows of the pines stay fixed in place. This is where she pinned the shadows.
Yeah. And then right here.
There's also one here and here. So, lost souls weep for the nostalgia and regret. Tears of the drowned, carelessly flow down the creek. This goes around a circle. Deep underground, ancient roots wind through shattered skulls.
So it seems like, to me, based on...
Yeah, I got that one. That one said,
It's fine.
though the sun moves through the sky, the shadows of the pines stay fixed in place.
So based on all of these, it sounds to me like Liam and the Towering Man are over in this area. Just based on the stuff that we heard last time about like the trees and the river and stuff, the creek.
Well, but so let's go through these. Let's go through this last part again, where he's describing just that last one has all the arrows pointing to it. Let's see if we can find these different landmarks.
I know it's my day off, blah, blah, blah. We started on the path to the lumber mill, but soon veered off from the path entirely. We walked in one direction for what I would judge to be 5 hours. As we walked, the hermit would occasionally mutter under his breath. Forgotten, thought I'd make out something about heading toward the Hoard of Bones. So I'd wager that they went straight up this way.
You say veered off quickly. So I'm gonna say let's say they veered off here, just to make it easy. So they said 5 hours.
You got your little post-it strips?
Yep. Because they said in one direction towards the Hoard of Bones.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So we'll say that let's just say that they veered off here.
Yeah.
But it was toward the Hordes of Bones, so
So
I would
headed
say
that
they
direction.
really ended up probably around here.
Yeah.
Okay.
We eventually reached a stream, and when we did, he suddenly remembered I existed as part of the forest where she pinned the shadows in place, which is over there. Made sure to build his place as far away from them as he could. So, I mean, that makes sense.
Over here.
Mm-hmm. Play as far away from them as could. He said that his cabin was another 3 hours down the river. So 1, 2, 3. So hereabouts.
Yeah. Yeah. So right here.
I could count myself lucky that I wouldn't have to see those shadows just yet. So he was playing at something. Spoke, but him always heavy to thread. I made so forgetting. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it.
I think that I'm willing to bet that 1, 2, 3 that is the location of
From here.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
The house.
Yeah.
of the cabin. Because they came to a river and they said as far away as possible. You can't get much further away than that.
Yeah. Alright, so we have some journal entries.
So, I mean, more or less we're trying to find out where they're at. So I think that this is going to be, we're trying to find things that's going to confirm this for us, because I think that is actually our answer.
I don't know why that would be the answer, though.
Well, because she's asking...
She's asking where they are.
Correct. Where his hiding place is.
Right.
I think that Carver and this hermit are the same person.
Gotcha. All right, well, we have more things to read, so let's not
I know.
jump to conclusions yet.
We probably aren't going to need the black light. The black light is only stuff from Liam, and we don't have anything from Liam.
So this is a journal from Aloysius something Mastins.
Sorry, just before you read that, what was the riddle again?
Find us where a shred of property was lost.
I mean...
There's no context here.
Well, this property was
I mean,
lost.
I understand,
Was
but
it?
I'm not
I'm not committed to that.
committed to it.
I don't-
I want to go through everything else first. So we have a journal from someone who was a member of a search party that was in the forest for a number of days. And then we also have the script from that was based off of Judge Jonathan Goodneighbor's journal entries.
Oh, cool.
Right before his death. And this particular scene is about...
Fucking Anthony trying to get us to read his script.
Let's see if it's any good.
Hang on, let me finish talking. You have interrupted me like 8 times. This one is, it's about the trial and condemnation of the Blair Witch, specifically. So, you are more than welcome to read it. There you go.
Do you want me to read it right now?
No, I was telling you to, I've told you what all this says. I summarized it because I was reading it while you all were reading this.
Are there parts? Should we each take a roll?
There are parts? No, there's not. There's just one part. This is a monologue. Do you want me to read this?
You do you.
Okay. Act 1, Scene 5. Interior, Judge Goodneighbor's quarters, the afternoon. Goodneighbor paces the floor of his bedroom and crosses to his desk. Sitting, he prepares his journal and writes. Goodneighbor, writing weary. This is the journal of Jonathan Goodneighbor, recorded this horrid evening, February 17th, 1785. The townsfolk complain of witchcraft. Excuse me. Many children bear the same mark on their wrists from where she carved and siphoned blood. It was told to me that she collected the blood into several small bowls and arranged them in her cellar into some satanic symbol. Disgusting. I, being a godly man as well as a man of the law, ordered an investigation to be conducted at once. An hour's walk into the forest, we discovered the old woman's home, encircled with fencing of wood bound in twine. Rushing inside and to the fruit cellar, we found her standing in the corner as if expecting our arrival. I saw no sign of the ritual and no evidence of her working her craft. It made no difference. She had ample time to conceal her doings, and the children's testimony was damning enough.
There's not going to be anything on there.
We bound the hag in shackles and carried her to meet justice. Goodneighbor leans back in his chair, deep in thought. He stands, crossing to the window to stare out at the town. Goodneighbor, aloud and foreboding. We must put this witch on trial to submit her to her punishment with utmost haste. Blackout. Also, scary artwork. This is also the same artwork from the monster and myth book, so Anthony also wrote that.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of this is just Anthony trying... So, here's the thing. If this is not going to be supernatural, I'm leaning towards Anthony being the person, because everything has kind of gone through him, and he was a friend of the family, the whole getting rid of the husband.
It's going to be supernatural, and this isn't going to have anything on it.
Liam is the only one with the invisible pin.
Correct. And where did this come from? This came...
stores?
No, this came from the Historical Society. Where was Liam hanging out with... Where's Liam hanging out
The
before
basement.
he... Of the Historical
She
Society.
came in a fucking bubble, Doug! Interior, Judge Goodneighbor's quarters, night. Good neighbor angrily storms into the room. It is dimly lit by a single candle. A storm rages outside the window. His desk is cluttered with books. He sweeps his arm across the tabletop, throwing the mess to the floor. He sits and furiously begins to write. This is too much direction. Good neighbor, writing. February 21st, 1785. Though the children of Blair exposed her deeds, the old woman had nothing to say on the matter. Even when I bellowed at her in a most thunderous voice to reveal her true purpose, she said nothing. What a fucking surprise. Finally, I was left with no option but to take a hot poker to her skin, a reminder of the everlasting hellfire which awaits all those who refuse to repent. She did not so much as flinch. Good for her. No mortal could have withstood the searing pain of that fire, and so it was proven in her silence that she was indeed wed to the devil. The trial was complete. The windows blow open, extinguishing good neighbor's candle. The stage is dark. Good neighbor sharked. Damn storm! A flash of lightning briefly illuminates the room, revealing an old woman watching good neighbor as he closes the window. He doesn't seem to notice her. The room returns to darkness, and when good neighbor relights his candle, she's gone. Good neighbor continues. As I delivered the sentence, I expected some cry of protestation, and yet she sat staring at the wall with unfocused eyes. Come the morning, my companions and I shall bring the witch to a quiet place to carry out her sentencing. With a heavy sigh, good neighbor lays down his quill. Scene. Interior, Judge Goodneighbor's quarters, day. Goodneighbor appears exhausted. He has heavy red scratches on the left side of his face and neck. His robes are torn and his boots are muddy. Goodneighbor, writing. February 22nd, 1785. And so the courts have done their work and the law has been upheld. Desiring to place distance between ourselves and the fair town, we traveled until we came upon a huge bone-white rock. I suggest that we complete the deed there, as it seemed as good a spot as any. However, we soon began to hear a terrible noise, the sound of hundreds of crows cawing in the distance. I judged the birds to be an hour from our position at the rock, but their cries echoed in a most loud and ominous manner. Doubtless an omen. As they crowed in the distance, we pummeled the witch as punishment for summoning the beasts. She made no sound. Though the witch was silent, the forest was not. The sound of cawing crows still echoed from a particular region of the forest itself, as if the land had taken on the cries of the birds and amplified them. And amplified them 100-fold. As the others clutched their ears in pain and fear, I found myself clutching at my greatest comfort, a locket containing a lock of my dear wife Propriety's hair, to compose myself as I recited the Lord's Prayer. Unwilling to remain in the same vicinity as the beasts, we turned from our position at the rock and fled for 5 hours in total, going the opposite direction from which the cacophonous cawing had so ominously emanated. While we fled the noise, I noted that a certain region of the forest contained a number of trees that appeared to have been ravaged by a large creature of some sort, and I wondered my men to keep their wits about them. I was quite relieved when we left this particular area behind us. Our group continued straight forward on the course we had set, away from the terrible noise. Don't strain your eyes.
No, this is where so that's the rock. They went this way.
What's the rock?
This is the rock where they were just at.
Okay.
Well, at least it was near them anyway.
Well, then they went, but then they went 5 hours and they noticed a forest that had a bunch of claw marks and stuff. That's what this mark here says. Mm-hmm. So they went 5 hours this way.
That's 4.
So I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're going. They continue to go this way, is what they said.
When the last sounds of crows had faded and the forest was silent as the grave, save for the sounds of our party's footsteps, the witch finally broke her days-long silence. She requested that, were she to be left to die, she would be left in a grove of trees that she often sat amongst in moments of silent contemplation. We, being an honorable and compassionate group of men, obliged. She turned at a slight angle and led us in a new direction, with myself directly at her back, keeping a keen eye out for any sign of treachery, and my men behind me. As we walked, I began to hear behind me my men murmur dreadful utterances about how we and our children would be doomed for our trespassing and our violence. I turned and ordered them to be quiet, but each and every man insisted that they had not uttered a word. After traveling for 2 hours in the witch's chosen direction, we came upon a hollow with a white tree at its center. I moved to bind the witch to the tree, a twisted, dying thing. This is the tree that we were hearing about all day yesterday. Seeking out one final opportunity to sate her bloodlust, the witch clawed at my face and neck as I bound her, screeching all manner of hellish condemnation and tearing the locket from my neck. It was then that my companions fled, leaving me to carry out the deed on my own. Perhaps they feared she would soon break free of her bindings, and so I was left alone to complete the task. Her strength surprised me, but I, the power of all that is holy, remained on my side, and I succeeded in my efforts to subdue her. I completed the deed, and so full of fear that I momentarily forgot about the locket, turned my back on the witch to return home. As I left the hollow, I began to feel an agonizing sensation of burning on the back of my neck, as if 2 hot coals had been pressed into my flesh. I did not turn around to see what was behind me. Instead, I began to run back to town, not slowing or turning back once for the entire journey. Regretfully, I must leave my beloved locket behind. A fear grips me that I should attempt to return to the forest again, I might not return home. From outside the window, the figure of an old woman in a dark and heavy cloak slowly approaches, watching Goodneighbor. Goodneighbor writing. I comfort myself with the knowledge that the witch's twisted heart will lie far away from civilized society forevermore. Still, I confess that I cannot forget the sound of her final cries and of the terrible curse she uttered with her last gasping breath. But I comfort myself with the knowledge that, at last, the horridness is behind us. The old woman stands, staring in through the window, no longer at Judge Goodneighbor, but at the audience.
Okay, so so there's a tree somewhere in this general vicinity, because right here it talked about how there was like murmurs and like things that he thought was his people, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's right here.
Well, so they came 5 hours,
And then
they went 2. So 1, 2. The tree's going to be hereabouts.
You said they went 2 hours
2 hours after they turned.
after she kind of led them in a different
Right.
direction.
So it's going to be somewhere about there, which I'm sure we'll hear about when we actually get more information about this lumber mill.
What does this say? The sky shines bright. The sky shines bright. Something, the sun and the moon are nowhere to be seen. I can't tell what that word. I'm trying to see what that word is.
Sky shines bright. Wait, it almost looks like it says
Do you want me to look?
ready?
But it's something, the sun and the moon are nowhere to be seen.
EDY?
The sky shines bright red. The sun and moon are nowhere to be seen.
Comma.
All right.
Did it say they went 2 hours?
It said they went 2 hours, yeah.
2 hours in her chosen direction.
Well, so it could have been this way too.
Well, they went from here. They went
Mhm.
5 hours.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then they heard murmurs,
Right.
which means they had to be going this way towards.
But as they were
murmurs.
it was 2 hours in her chosen direction toward the murmurs.
Yeah.
Oh, so 5. It might be here.
Yeah.
I think it's right here. I think it's this one, not this one.
Okay.
This is where I think it is.
It is somewhere in this
Yeah,
general
because 1,
vicinity.
2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2.
And that also is just south of the
So-
murmurs.
Yeah. I was fine leaving it where it was because then we could just mark the X like we did over here.
Okay.
Okay. So this is from Aloysius Masters. Aloysius Masters? Something like that. Journal went on a days long search party. So bear with me because this is long. And it's in cursive. So,
Oh, you bit my ear,
It's
bitch.
in cursive.
yeah, but it's like
Oh, it's like handwritten.
Yeah, it's hard to read. So, March 14th, 1886. Back in town now. Spent the day out in the forest again. Traveled several hours past the bone white rock where we ended our search yesterday, but still to no avail. We 14 able-bodied men, volunteers from about town who know the area and its peculiarities well, have not been able to find any sign that another human being has ever been in the woods at all. It was tragic, yet not unsurprising, when that young girl became lost in the forest. It still disturbs me to the utmost degree, however, to think that the first group of men sent to search for her should disappear as well. We, the 14 members of the second search party, went count our friends and brothers and sons amongst the lost, and we have found neither hair nor hide of them, and not of the girl herself, for 2 days now. The only discovery of note thus far was that of a puddle of some viscous substance that none of us could rightly identify, which one man nearly lost a boot to when he accidentally stumbled into it. Though I do not put much stock in the ghost stories used to frighten children in these parts, I still become deeply unsettled. I can't. Y'all are you're blocking the. Deeply unsettled when I set foot into the forest. I feel as though a weight has been pressed upon my shoulders and a pair of eyes has focused on the back of my neck. We will take up the search once again at sunrise. I hope that tomorrow's effort brings us greater success. March 15th, 1886. Mr. Robinson, who misjudged a step into that strange puddle, returned this morning with a pair of borrowed boots. He complained that even though he had hung his boots above the fire all night, they continued to be soaked with the strange substance he stepped into. Near the end of the day's search, a member of our party called upon us to report that he had found a human tooth embedded into the gnarled stump of a white tree when he had attempted to set down to rest upon it. The men wasted almost an hour of daylight debating the tooth, half insisting it was indeed human, while half swore it appeared to belong to an animal. One man, named Thomas Gillard, was frightened beyond belief by it, trembling like a leaf in a gale as he insisted that the witch had set her gaze upon us. I stayed silent as I did not know what I believed. We found nothing else of note, and when we returned to town it was with heavy hearts and slumped shoulders, especially once we spied curious children and wistful wives watching us return utterly empty-handed. We all went to our homes shaken and shamed. I am certain I will not be the only man tonight praying for some sign of the missing men.
When is this from?
18 something.
1886.
Miss Gillard gave us evidence in the first episode. So this is her ancestor.
Well, Thomas Gillard. Can you open that? I want to try it. Thomas Gillard refused to return to the wood today. When the 13 of us came to collect him, we found... Oh, no.
You good? You need a...
No, he got it.
Well, he actually splattered your phone.
That's fine. Found that he had barred his doors and hung a cross in his window and refused to speak to any of us. We embarked without him. Though we encountered neither monsters nor witches, strange events did occur during today's search. While I am by no means ready to join Mr. Gillard in his beliefs concerning witchcraft, I feel I must describe the day's events to assist my own understanding. We began our day much the same as we always had, by spreading out in a formation intended to cover as much ground as possible. We felt perhaps 40 feet between each man, to properly cite any potential clues. I can recall with absolute clarity Mr. Josiah Johnson, our party's leader, standing to my direct left. We came upon the large white rock once again, and were about to set out from the stone when I noticed a faint sound. I listened closely to locate the source of the sound, and though it eluded me, it soon became apparent that the sound itself was that of a man calling for help. I turned to my left to alert Josiah, but saw another man instead. Mr. Johnson was now standing to my right. Although I had not once veered from my course, nor had I seen another man cross my path. When I attempted to alert Mr. Johnson and the others of the noise, no other man seemed able to hear it, though it was only increasing in volume and desperation. Despite this, the men swore to me that the forest was silent as the grave. It was then I began to hear the voice screaming out my name. I insisted that we follow it. No, that's a bad idea. I must have seemed either quite sincere or quite desperate, because Mr. Johnson agreed to break from our planned course. From where we stood at the large white rock, we followed the stream toward the sound I heard. Almost as soon as we changed course, we came across a pile of dead rodents, 10 or more. They appeared to have died fighting one another, as their flesh was torn to shreds. We walked 2 hours in that same direction, the smell of their rot seeming to linger with us long after we had passed them. Then, as we neared a fork in the stream, we sighted a wisp of smoke in the distance at an angle from our current course. It surprised us all, especially myself. I have been a resident of the town of Burkittsville for the better part of 20 years, and with the exception of certain old wives' tales, there have been no accounts of anyone taking up residence this far out in the woods. We turned slightly We turned slightly to head toward the smoke. We traversed 3 hours through ancient oak trees. I remember thinking the sound of the wind through the tree leaves sounded not unlike the whispering of an old woman, and then I realized that I did not feel any wind upon my face. I was about to comment on the strange phenomenon of the wind to the other men when I spotted the cabin. The home was a small structure in ill repair. The smoke had been lingered in a haze around the house, though we could not see its source. We went closer to inspect it, which regained us to navigate a very short stretch of hilled terrain. Our sightline of the house was interrupted by one of these hills, and when we managed to crest the hill itself to regain what should have been a direct sighting of the structure, was gone. We searched the entire area, but not a single one of us could find any trace of the cabin again. The stream of smoke remained in the sky directly above where the cabin should have been. Mr. Johnson insisted that the sighting of the cabin and the smoke must have been no more than a trick of our own minds, experienced by many men due to our desperation. Though I took a small delight in not being the only man glimpsing some sort of phenomena, I could not help but think enviously of Thomas Gillard sitting in the safety of his home.
So that literally points right back to the same spot. So from the fork, 3 hours. 1, 2, 3.
Kind of tastes like peanut butter, and I don't know why. 2 members of our party vanished during our search. This is the following day. The first was Mr. Robertson, who seemingly disappeared into thin air after half an hour after we crossed into the wood. Some other man turned to call for him. I do not recall who, and then that calling intensified to a frenzy, and soon the whole search party was running about searching for him. Some suggested he may have turned around and headed home, as Mr. Gillard had, but a moment later we set eyes upon a small bundle of sticks wound with a set of slime-covered bootlaces.
Ugh.
Mr. Michaels disappeared shortly after. He volunteered to head back to town to see if he could find Mr. Robertson. As it turns out, he never completed his journey. When the remaining 11 of us returned at the end of a fruitless day, it was to the screaming and hysteria of the town. Apparently, sometime during one excursion, someone had placed small wooden effigies in the shapes of men on the doorstep of Robertson's and Michael's homes. Though I did not know either of these men well, I am deeply affected by their strange and sudden loss. Mr. Gillard made the right decision when he chose to stay out of the woods. Following day, and this is going to take us to a really scary picture that's on the last page. Last night, I dreamt that I was alone in the woods in the dead of the night. As I stumbled around in the dark, I noticed 2 lights in the distance. They hovered among the trees for a long moment before being snuffed out, leaving me totally alone once again. That's actually in the book. That from the lights. Mm-hmm. I cannot help but believe them to be the souls of Robertson and Michaels, lost inside the labyrinth labyrinth of wood. Or perhaps they were a pair of eyes. I awoke this morning covered in sweat with 2 small pinpricks upon the back of my neck. They continuously bled no matter the amount of pressure that I placed upon them. I tell myself again and again that it must be nothing other than a spot where I had picked myself upon a thorn or branch during yesterday's search. After summoning all of the remaining courage, I joined the search party once again. We numbered 5 in total today, as half of the remaining men had refused to join us again.
Fuck off.
About 3 hours into the day, Mr. Johnson claimed to have caught sight of a boot print. My hopes were momentarily lifted, and I ran to see his discovery. However, I tripped on the way over and hit my mouth on a rock that lay on the forest floor, biting my tongue as I fell. My mouth filled with blood, which soon began to dribble out of my clothing. I soon realized that the rock had knocked one of my front teeth out of my mouth. God damn it. Although I could not find it anywhere on the forest floor because you already found it. Perhaps I swallowed it in my confusion and pain. To add insult to injury, it soon became apparent that there had been no boot print on the ground after all. The men did what they could to aid me, but we decided to call the day's search short, as we deemed it unwise to separate and allow me to return to town alone. We returned minutes before sunset, although there should have, by all account, been hours of daylight remaining. March 22nd, 1886. I have waited several days to collect myself, and I feel as though it is time that I recount what one party discovered on the 7th day of our search. We did indeed find the missing men from the first search party, but it was in no condition any man should be found. I would not wish the violence that was inflicted upon them, even upon my worst enemy. We discovered them by the same large white rock we saw on our very first day of scouring the woods. They were long dead and had been butchered like animals, all laid out upon the rock in some unnatural formation that I can only assume must be some form of satanic glyph, as it matches the symbols drawn onto their bodies in intermingled blood. The authorities have arranged a search for a madman or men and posted guards on the roads to town. The guards are to remain there at all hours, but something tells me the perpetrators will elude their grasp. Something tells me that they cannot be grasped at all. And then this is the picture.
Ugh.
So, do we want to go back and read the bright light since it was brought up again?
We can do that.
I know.
I'm done fighting with you about it, so.
Nope. So the single tooth on the necklace.
You still want to wear it?
Yeah. Still like it.
The lights. While most of the tales I've encountered seem primarily concerned with the woods, with figures such as the Blair Witch and the tangled web of her many victims and servants, this legend seems to cite something more ephemeral. The so-called lights, occasionally witnessed in Burkittsville's woods, have been reported only a handful of times over the past several centuries. However, I find them important to include for that very reason. The rarity of these sightings makes them all more crucial to evaluate and preserve. Yes, okay. The following poem was written by William Robertson. Robertson was renowned for Boston-born poet who first came to live in Burkittsville over the winter of 1827, to spend time with his ailing cousin and complete the manuscript of a book of original poetry. Unfortunately, that book never saw the light of day, as Robertson succumbed to a medical condition that was likely dementia shortly after leaving Burkittsville and returning to Boston. He was relegated to a sanatorium until his death. Cousin to Mr. Robertson that fucked around with that group. While his various written works survived him for quite some time, much of Robertson's material was lost during a recent fire in the Burkittsville History Museum. This is his account of the lights. I hypothesize that he wrote this piece after being issued a warning about the lights by his cousin or another concerned Burkittsville citizen. Here's the poem. It's the strange white light in the night, the warning that things are far from right. Whether fire, glow, or something more, best stay inside and shut your door. Even if things seem like they're spinning about, steel yourself and don't go out. Simply close your eyes and hold on tight and pray that you escape the light.
When did he say he was in town?
He was in town
In the 1840s.
over the winter of 1827.
27.
Because this is now 1886.
1886.
So this is 60 years later.
Oh. Interesting.
So, is that all the evidence?
Yeah, that's all we have.
Well, we don't know how long he lived here, though. It says he came to Burkittsville in the winter of 1827 and succumbed to a medical condition that was dementia shortly after leaving Burkittsville and returning to Boston. It doesn't have a date there, though.
It's not him, but it's probably someone related to him.
So, what are the pieces of evidence? Let's make sure we have
That's
them all. Letter.
We have the letter from Rosemary. We have Carver's message. We have Anthony's note. The reenactment script. The search party account, which is this. The building records, which is that.
Mm-hmm.
Black Hills forest map, the magnifying glass, and the compass.
Okay. Based upon, and then the cipher again said something about ruins, right?
Find us where a shred of property was lost. Yeah, I mean,
I
at this
agree.
point,
Yeah,
that's
no,
the
I
only
agree
shred of
that this
property we
is-
talked about. Yeah.
This is the only thing.
And two different things led us to that point.
Right. But we also now have the location, we think, the location of the white tree and the white rock, which are both also very big and have been talked about many times
In multiple different.
in every single one.
Yeah.
So, are we comfortable with that square being the one?
R7?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2, 3.
And then from the fork, it was 3 miles.
3
Or
hours.
3 hours.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think that to me that's.
No, I agree. I just don't know why.
Well, because it says.
I guess we were given this specifically for this back here.
Yeah. Well, while you look that up, I'm going to go to the website. Where's her number?
That took 40 minutes.
And honestly, mostly because we had to read everything out loud.
Okay. We want to go back and read this first?
Yeah. They can't see it.
Oh, sure.
But Rosemary had little effigies left on her porch.
No, sorry, hold on. There we go.
Okay, so that was the last one. This was Sarah Schrader.
So it looks like it's gonna always be the
First page.
yeah.
Just found 2 little figures in the front yard. They're
Ugh.
made of sticks and twine. They look vaguely human. I feel sick to my stomach and furious all at once. I spent all day in the museum waiting through research
God.
that
4 days? 5 days?
gathered for me about the other children who've gone missing. He's been helping me out as best as he can, trying to teach me about the history of the area. He says he wants me to be armed with knowledge. I've avoided that kind of research until today because it felt like giving into superstition, but I don't know what else to do at this point. Still, if any of this were real, someone would have found something in the woods by now. Sure, all legends come from a grain of truth, but that's a grain. I don't like that she stepped on the largest one. This time there were 4 stick figures. All different sizes. I found them a few minutes ago when I accidentally stepped on the largest one when I was leaving for work.
Well, that's HUD.
Yeah,
He's all fucked up.
he has no legs. I've been watching the porch with HUD's gun in my lap all night, but no sign of Carver. I can barely keep my eyes open right now. Going to make myself another cup of coffee. There was a stick figure waiting for me in my seat as soon as I got back. I dropped the cup and it shattered all over the porch. I made a slice my palm open to pick it up the shards. I can't go on living like this. Something has to give. Managed to sleep for a few hours, dreamed about Liam, Tristan, and Hudson sitting around a campfire that grew and grew until it ate all three of them away. I'm going to lose them for good if I don't act now. I just know it. I've got to find Carver, but how? How can I do any better than the search parties have already been doing? This time it was a direct message, a taunt, and an invitation. And God help me, I've got no choice but to answer it. I'm going to ask Anthony to help me one last time, and I'm going to send everything I've got to the detective. I think I finally have everything I need. I've got a food, a map, a hunting knife, HUD's gun, plenty of batteries for my flashlight, portable Wi-Fi, hotspot, and tank. I'm ready to go. Don't
Tank! Don't take Tank!
nowhere. The tank better not die.
One screenshot 4.
4.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the only new one. Sarah Schroeder, this fucking bitch.
This fucking bitch.
I know I phrased this a bit dispassionately when I made my first announcement, but I cannot stress enough how important it is that every resident of Burkittsville stays out of the Black Hills Forest. Honestly, if somebody told me I had to, I would absolutely do it while they watched. Since my last update, I've been finding piles of stones all around the outskirts of town on my walks, like something is slowly building a wall between us and the forest. The message couldn't possibly be any more clear. Whatever's in there wants to hurt anyone who sets foot into the forest. My children and I have been having nightmares just from the thought of what will happen there next. They've been waking me up in the middle of the night to ask me if they're going to go missing next. What am I supposed to tell them? I understand the concern for poor Tristan Kent and the urgency that many of you feel to resolve the disappearances, as well as the hope that came with finding some of Liam Kent's possessions in the forest, but none of this will end in anything but heartbreak. It never was, not even once. Andrea Tan, who was present for the search party's discovery, has informed me in no uncertain terms that Liam's things appeared to be arranged, not dropped. By trying to search the forests, aren't we playing directly into the hands of whoever or whatever took them? Great. Sarah. Anthony Rapino, big old Tony. Are you serious? A woman has lost her children and you're worried about what to tell yours about the situation? All right, Anthony, pump your brakes.
G says, LOL, just tell them, yes, you're next.
Diane Moss, I agree. No one should be stepping foot into that place at all. I've been saying this ever since those college students disappeared, and still nobody listens. They interviewed my cousin for their little movie right before they vanished, and he said this. They seem so sweet. Somebody should have warned them off their project. Sarah, I know you're acting in the best interest of the people in this town. Joanne Ingram, Joanna, that was 20 years ago, and we don't know exactly what happened. Besides, those kids weren't from here. The people of this town grew up with that forest, and we know it better than anyone. Great, Joanna. You're literally not adding anything to the conversation. Karen Schultz, agreed. The Kent family's business is their own. My heart goes out to Rosemary. It really does. But at the end of the day, we all have our own people to look out for. Great. Fucking, this is just like regular Facebook. Useless what you're typing.
Alright, so we're supposed to write the coordinates, which I believe is R7.
Yeah.
Yep.
The other thing why I think that it is R7 for sure is because I don't think it would be something.
You should have been first.
Is because I don't think it's not gonna be a marked thing on the map.
No.
You know what I mean? Like all these like points. Like I think it's gonna be by itself. So R7, ready?
You're wrong.
She just doesn't respond. A 6-minute voicemail this time.
Hell, I can't remember who said it, but I don't know if it was like. So it's like she sent a 3-minute voicemail in 10 seconds.
It was either
All right,
Pat or
Rosemary,
Ariel. I'm not
if
sure.
you get this, if you get this dog killed, I'm literally gonna come to Maryland and kill you myself.
We're wrong.
We're wrong.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. 1, 2.
Is it maybe 7R? I feel like they would have had it be both ways.
Figure out where Carmen resides in that coordinates of his location through Rosemary's tip line. I don't understand.
I'm gonna try. We did R7. I'm gonna try 7R just to see if it's reversed. Right, because we did R7 first.
Yeah, we did R7 first.
R
7.
7.
Nah!
Okay, then let's come back one this way.
What?
So it would be 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So
QR
Q7.
or Q7. QR.
Okay.
God, Rosemary.
This is so embarrassing.
No. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's.
What about up here?
Well, let's readjust here. Let's reassess. This is what this place is where we think it is. So, we're going to go down here. So we started on the path to Lumberfield, but soon veered off from the path. We walked in one direction for what I judged to be 5 hours.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, but he says they stopped at the river.
We eventually reached a stream, and when we did this, it was suddenly remembered that I existed again. He turned to me and started talking about the shadows in the forest, that his cabin was another 3 hours down the river. What if this was the stream, this is the river? So it would be 1, 2, 3.
But
Or even here.
Because they went 3 hours from the fork.
mm-hmm.
So it could have been this direction, but it says as far away from the.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 3 hours from the fork, what is... Oh, when they saw the house.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I mean, it could be there. It could be L7.
Let's try L7. I mean, it makes no sense because she said as far away as possible, but...
I mean, if it's not L7, then it's S7.
Where's the script? No, it wasn't the script. Yes, it was the script. Was it the script? Where did we get the 3 hours from
it's from the script. It's from the last page.
No, it was this. It was in this one. That just talks about the tree.
Yeah. Purposes were flagged for 5 hours until the officer directed to cut off his colleagues from the house and contained a number of trees that appeared to be large trees. That was when they went that way.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the one that talks about the...
This was the crook and the... Because you were talking and Steve and I were pointing at the map.
Okay.
Yeah, it's somewhere in this section where they start talking about that.
The cabin. The cabin is what we were talking about. That was...
Before the picture of the guys at this page.
Yeah. Okay, so it was actually the one before this. As we near fork in the stream. There or here? I don't know. Fork in the stream. We sighted wisp of smoke in the distance. Turn slightly to head toward the smoke. We traversed 3 hours through ancient oak trees.
Did you put in the right code?
Yeah. I used the one from this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it mean is that the same one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Should I try R, like, one above and one below it?
Try S7.
I did. It didn't do anything.
Oh.
What about if this one here?
I mean, that's Q6.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Try it.
Like, we're in the general vicinity. I just don't know where we...
Fuck you, Rosemary.
Should I try it both ways? I feel like they're gonna have it both ways. Like,
The problem with counting the squares differently is that they stopped at the stream and then followed it.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We tried.
Well, they stopped at the stream and then they said it was 3 hours downriver. Which is why I'm thinking that this was the fork.
Mhm.
We tried all 7.
And then 1, 2, 3 downriver. 1, 2, 3.
Do you want to try Q, whatever that is?
It's
It's
O
04.
4.
O
I
4?
don't think so.
It's worth a shot.
No, because they travel 3 hours away from this. Nope, not sure what you're talking about.
Follow the stream towards the sound I heard. No, yeah, it has to be here. And then they veered. What if
Could be.
maybe here? Or 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Down the river.
Maybe we can try it.
R4.
Like I said, I'm worried that it's depends on which way you put it in there.
I mean, if this doesn't work, I'll go find the answer.
Well, we can do the hints again, but like it feels like it should be really straightforward.
I feel like that's the right place.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, look at the hints first. Don't
Okay.
go for the solution.
Let me try I'm just gonna try this one right here.
This one?
Yeah. What is that? R6?
R8.
R8. I'm gonna try R8 real quick before we go there. Hold on.
Okay.
What is the password?
It says it on the
It's
thing.
right here.
I know, that's what I just put in.
Oh, no, it's here. Sorry.
I feel like it has to be in this area.
Yeah, but I think at this point we've put all of the...
Not quite, but like I said, I'll be frustrated if it's one of the ones we guessed and it's just like we put the letter first and it should be the number first.
Alright, just start at the first one. Okay, we did that.
Mm-hmm.
We did that. Did that. Did that. Did that. Did that again. We did all of that!
Hold on, let me look back at this.
Check the witch's hollow.
Yeah.
Hey, Tech.
Hi, Tech.
So again, we're on the right track. again?
Yeah, like...
Nope. It's here.
You think it's the hollow?
I put that in there.
You put
I4?
I4?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I put I4 in there. I'm gonna try I5 too, just
Nope. I don't know. Two things pointing to the hermit's. Two things pointing towards the hermit's house. Carver is doing things on behalf of the witch. The hermit was doing things on behalf of the witch. Like, it just feels like everything is pointing towards that being the connection.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on. H4.
H4. I just got to H. Damn it! I just got there. It's right here.
So I was right.
Yes, you were right. It's here.
I feel like that's going to still come into play at some point.
Okay, just so everyone knows, everything else was exactly correct.
Okay, so
This
literally,
is the hermit's house. This is the White Rock.
yes, it is. And I had just gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then was moving in a slight direction. 1, 2, got me to H4. So we were just off by a little bit.
I guess I just didn't understand what the prompt was.
What do you mean? What the prompt was?
Like, I didn't know what the answer was. Like, I didn't know what she was asking for. Carver's, when you figure out where Carver is hiding, send the map coordinate. Like,
The map coordinates.
right.
Map
But
coordinates.
2 of the 3 things led us to this particular spot.
Yes, I am a little confused as to why it's the white tree and not the...
Yeah, because it also said ruins, right? Or something? Or
There's nothing about ruins. None of this.
Carver's riddle.
Carver's riddle is where a shred of property was...
It's Judge Goodneighbor's wife.
It's the locket.
Yeah.
It's the locket.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, you
Got
ready to
it.
listen to this?
All right,
I'm
we
gonna turn
got
this up
it.
so the chat can hear. Chat, are you ready for the 2-minute voicemail?
Hey! It's mine.
Delicious.
You have your own.
Here we go. Ready? 3-minute voicemail.
Good. I've been waiting out here for a few hours. Something told me that you'd find me the answers that I needed today. Now I know where to go. Thank you. Whoa, hold on, boy. Hold on, let me get my bag. You know,
I
it's
hear yelping.
kind of a relief to be out here. The house is unbearable. It's so quiet. And I hate being at the Silver Moon. I can't stand the looks everyone gives me. More and more lately, I've just been staring out into the woods. Or reading about the woods. Or sitting up in the middle of the night thinking about the woods.
That's how Liam started.
I know, buddy, I know. He seems antsy. I hope he'll be able to pick up a scent. I've noticed when I come out here to search for the boys that the further you go in, the quieter it gets. It's not a peaceful quiet, though. It's tense. Like the whole forest is holding its breath. Hud and I would come out here sometimes when we were first started dating. He knew all kinds of facts about nature. Moss grows on the north side of a tree, he'd say. I have no idea if that's actually true. We used to chase each other around and leave each other these little notes. And then a few years later, down the road, Hud started bringing Liam to cut wood with him until... until I lost him to this place. Oh, we're going to get my sons out of here. Even if I have to end up just like Hud to do it. Goodbye for now.
Useless.
Goodbye forever.
Useless.
How's she gonna send us anything?
I don't know, but she says it's too many things.
Anthony.
Yeah, the rest of the
Anthony.
stuff's
The rest of it's gonna be from Anthony.
Yeah, because the family's been reunited, folks.
How did Hud die? Because I'm starting to think. Didn't it fall across his legs?
He was crushed on it by a tree, yeah.
And she broke the legs off of the
Yeah,
thing?
she stepped on it.
Just like how he found his own tooth?
Days before it fell out?
But then there's also the bracelet of a tooth.
I know, the tooth, there's something with the tooth.
All right.
Something with the teeth.
Oh, this has a little more heft to
Ooh,
it.
hefty. Ooh, hefty. Ooh, this hefty boy.
T-shirt. Free shirt. Dibs.
It's a child's bloody t-shirt.
I paid for this shit.
No, Megan did.
No, she didn't.
I have no
Megan
money.
doesn't have money.
She swiped her card.
No, she didn't. She swiped my card.
I don't have money. What are you talking about?
What are you... What? I'm the only one that spent money at Gen Con.
Excuse me?
You bought fucking Slopes. Scout.
Slopes.
I bought like 5 games.
Alright, here's all this. It is from Anthony. We've got...
Flask.
A cigarette case.
Wait, Derek's gonna...
It's her
Derek's
cigarette
about
case.
to get really excited.
Notes. There's a note in here. Fucking deer beanie, bro! Don't get your filthy oils on it. Give me my beanie.
You have a beanie.
No, give me my beanie. Fuck off. Give me my beanie.
You have a beanie.
No, give it to me.
Hell yeah. Should we check it for evidence before you do that?
You put it inside out. It's inside out! No, dude, that's not how it works.
I don't wear beanies like a ponce.
There's a tag that's sticking out the top.
Tag off.
No.
Wear it like a normal human.
I am wearing it like a normal human. It's not the 80s anymore.
There.
I'm wearing it like it's cold out.
That's what it's for.
Let me just check it for evidence real
No
quick.
evidence.
You don't know this.
Hello. I am just now realizing that I never properly introduced myself to you. I'm Anthony Rapino, and I'm a friend of the Kent family, and I need your help, or more accurately, Rosemary needs your help. When Rosemary left, she promised me that she'd only be in the woods for a single night.
Is there something written on
There's
it?
evidence.
Yeah. Fuck off.
It's got Liam's initials on it. This isn't just a beanie tag. This is from the school.
And he's like, I'm just gonna cut the tag off.
When Rosemary left, she promised me she'd only be in the woods for a single night, as though that would be any comfort to me at all. Nevertheless, it's been far longer than that, and she still hasn't returned. I spent the past day practically turning her place upside down, looking for your contact info, which I spent the next day. The past day practically turning her place upside down, looking for, which I eventually
If you wanted to keep this
discovered-
evidence, you should have paid for
discovered
it.
once and figured out the password to her laptop. Don't worry, I wasn't trespassing. After Liam disappeared, Rosemary gave me a key to her house so that I could show myself in from time to time, usually just to check in on her and sometimes to help out with the cooking and cleaning when dealing with the investigation got to be too much for her. You know what? Maybe he's just a good friend, Derek.
Real good friend.
Stop trying to take this from me! Speaking of investigations, Sheriff Lanning isn't returning my calls anymore. Over the course of the past year, the entire family has disappeared on his watch, and he just seems to want to be able to move on from it. I've been searching through the forest alone every day, and I've managed to find a number of notes that seem to have come from Rosemary, along with a number of items and files that simply shouldn't exist. As if it wasn't already strange enough, some of the papers I found, Rosemary described hiding in an abandoned lumber mill. There used to be a lumber mill in the woods, but it was abandoned in the 1950s and demolished over a decade ago. On top of all these eerie circumstances, it appears as though someone or something has been interfering with Rosemary's personal website. There are new posts being made on a regular basis. I can't even tell if Rosemary has somehow managed to connect to the internet out there, or if it's not her at all, because the text itself appears to be so corrupted. When I try to make it out, my vision goes blurry, and I'm overwhelmed with such a profound sense of dread that I reflexively slam my laptop shut. Maybe you'll have better luck making sense of the site.
Wait, did he say how long it's been since she was gone?
A couple days.
Several days.
Shit.
What I have been able to make out from her notes, although it doesn't quite make sense to me, is that Rosemary seems to have been written about needing to find a 5-digit code in order to progress on her journey through the woods. The best and perhaps the only thing that we can do for her right now is find that code and send it to her. I know it's a long shot and it's crazy to ask you to help with any of this at this point, but I'm used to being the crazy one. If I were to hazard a guess, I'd say that you must be getting used to it too. Maybe Rosemary will still be able to receive information through her tip line. I have to believe she will be, because it's our only hope at this point. Whatever's happening out there, Rosemary is in imminent danger. There's no time to waste. Please help see me through this.
What the fuck?
Fun. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Also, there's something in this, which is why I was keeping it away from you.
That's why I closed it so fast.
Huh?
That's why I closed it so fast.
I saw there was something in it.
Let's read what was on the inside.
That's her cigarette case.
Nathan's cigarettes. Put your faith in Nathan.
Family owned, family friendly company. Nathaniel.
I'm just gonna show you guys. This is what the website now looks like.
Herman, alongside their children. What year is this? Established 1902. That's cool. You can keep change in there.
Okay, so we have notes. We have this fucking thing.
No, thanks.
The files that he was talking about.
Fuck, dude. God. I'm gonna kill this fucking guy. He's awful. It looks like Liam's pin has dried up.
I'm not so sure yet.
And then a note.
What are we gonna look at first?
Let's put this back in here for now. Let's make sure that we have everything. I don't know
Order
where
of
you toss the
operations?
stuff.
Letter from Anthony. Check.
Journal pages,
Okay.
tree rubbings.
Yeah,
Henry's note. Henry, is that in here?
probably.
Personal files,
No
shutdown report, beanie, and cigarette case. So what was on the beanie, Derek?
Liam's initials.
Oh, that's it?
LHK. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's got like the school name.
Oh, okay. So, like, it's definitely Liam's beanie.
LHK. Okay, I'll start deciphering these tree rubbings.
Alright, I'm going to...
Did Anthony's note say where he got these tree rubbings? Were they at her house, or did he do them?
I think he said he did them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm interested in this. The back of this paper is something else. It's the only one that's like that, show. But like
it's a newspaper?
But like it's kind of no. It has like people's names and phone numbers and stuff on it.
Yeah, it's
Hate it.
personal information. That's what...
And the Boeing company. And U.S. Army. Like, I don't know if this is actually supposed to be like this or not.
Alright, no signs of my boys or of Carver, not yet. It's been slow going in the dark, but I must have traveled at least a few miles north. In the morning, I'll head deeper. For now, Tank and I have made camp. If Hud could see me struggle to set up his old tent, I'd never hear the end of it. Tank is in his element out here. It always surprises me how quickly he takes to these woods. Never had a dog before that didn't overact to every creak in the distance. He almost seems like he's keeping watch for me, even when I'm not holding his leash. He just sticks by my side. It started around 3 a.m. Distant first, voices, whispering. They sounded so young. I thought of Tristan, but none of the voices were his. How many children are out here? I tried to call out to them, but it came back as a croak. Sorry, it came out as a croak. My voice felt trapped far back in my throat. When I was finally able to ask who was there, the voices didn't answer. Maybe they couldn't hear me. They sounded so close, though, like they were just outside my tent. When I unzipped the tent, the whispering faded to silence. I shined my flashlight out, but there was nothing. That's when I noticed Tank was sitting alert. He's usually such a deep sleeper, but he must have heard something too. I only just managed to get him calmed down, going to try and sleep a little more and leave at sunrise. Just woke up and went outside to find Liam's hat placed neatly in front of the entrance to my tent. Even though I know with total certainty that it's just Carver mocking me, I'm still holding on to it like a totem. I can feel my blood boiling inside me. Don't know how much sleep I've gotten because the sun still hasn't come up. The clock on my phone must be wrong. It says it's 1 in the afternoon. Doesn't make any sense. Either way, I don't want to sleep anymore. Time to get moving. He's trying to scare me. After I picked up camp, Tank and I walked for hours and hours. The deeper we walked into the woods, the less I could see the sky through the canopy of leaves above me. I couldn't even hear the wind. That's when we found a clearing surrounded by tall, thin trees whose trunks were engraved like headstones. I didn't understand what all of the carvings on them said, but the messages on a few of those trees couldn't be clearer. I took some rubbings of the carvings just to prove to myself that I wasn't seeing things. It's a good thing that I did because they disappeared the moment I looked away from them. I think he's trying to make me turn back. It's not going to happen. What would I be going back to? There's nothing there, not anymore. Tank is exhausted. We're stopping more for his benefit than mine, though I admit it's getting to me. First Hudson, then Liam and Tristan, all my boys, gone. When I get our sons back, I'll never take my eyes off of them again, Hud, I promise. Just a little farther, I know it. The voices are back. They sound closer. The sun isn't going to rise again. I thought it was almost dawn again. I was wrong. It's just dark now. It's just dark. Something just tried to get in. I woke up to the sound of Tank barking and realized that something was dragging against the tent, scraping against the plastic. I kicked at it, but it just felt air where my boot should have connected with flesh. It stopped the scratching, though. Sometimes I can see my phone catch a signal for a moment, like the outside world is reaching in to pull me back, but inevitably the bars disappear and the outside world is pushed away again. By the woods, by him, or by her. Whoever, whatever he is, I don't care. I can't do this anymore. It's like my mind is playing tricks on me. I think something is out here with me, something besides Carver, watching me. It's coming closer day by day. I can hear it breathing. I don't know what it's waiting for. There are 5 times when I can see a light through the trees, flickering, fire. Each time I've run toward it, hoping it was Carver's campfire. I lower my head and bolt, but the lights always burn out just before I can reach it, like a cruel joke. It's the only light I ever see besides my own flashlight. There's no more sun anymore. No more daytime. I can't do this. No, that's enough feeling sorry for myself. I better get moving. Tank started growling at a bush, and when I pointed my flashlight, I saw a pale white hand with only 2 fingers covered in blood. It looked like the hand of a drowned person, like something that hasn't seen sunlight in years. As soon as the beam of my flashlight hit that hand, it flinched away as it made this terrible groaning noise, like an angry animal and a wounded man at the same time. I ran in the opposite direction, and Tank followed. That's when I found this building. It looks abandoned. I'm hunkered down in the entryway for now. The door won't open, but I think there's a window I might be able to get through. Well, I got Tank and myself in, but I managed to cut my leg on a piece of glass that was sticking out of the window pane in the process. Thankfully, I was smart enough to bring a first aid kit. The bleeding hasn't completely stopped yet, and it hurts like hell, but I think I might be okay. I think I'll be able to walk on it. I'm going to try to explore a little in a few minutes. It looks like this place used to be a logging company. There's an axe embedded in the wall, and most of the furniture has been flipped, scorch marks on the walls and floors. I found records of almost all of the carnage. They paint a pretty vivid picture of what happened here before all of this. I suppose the woods retook this place after it was abandoned, although I do feel relatively safe in here compared to outside. But I'm going to need to move on soon, no time to waste. I managed to limp up the half-rotted stairs to the rooftop to try to get the lay of the land. At first I saw nothing on the horizon but trees, but then I noticed it. The light again, the flickering light of a campfire. I know where I have to go from here, toward that fire. If Tristan and Liam aren't there, they aren't anywhere. I noticed something else on the rooftop, though. It was the groaning sound of that creature on the building's perimeter. And then there was the sound of another and another. I think the building is surrounded. The only way forward is going to be through them. They're scratching at the front door and at the windows, and it's making Tank go absolutely ballistic. My leg hurts. God, I wish I had a cigarette right now. They hate the light. The hand that I saw in the woods, and now these things outside. When I shine my flashlight at an area where they're scratching, they all back away from the light, and even Tank calms down a little. He senses they're a little farther away. I saw a mention of a breaker room in some of the reports, so I tracked it down. If I can manage to get inside, I'm going to flood this place with light. It might be clear enough of a path for me to run straight to Carver's campfire. The thing is, the door's been outfitted with a hefty combination lock. Nothing can ever be easy, can it? To add insult to injury, I thought I'd managed to find a pack of cigarettes right outside the breaker room, but the second I picked it up, I could tell it was empty. 5 digits. With any luck, it's hidden around here somewhere. Better get start. And then it trails off.
Ugh. You can switch back to us. Our table.
So, a couple things. One, these weird dash lines, I'm not sure why they are the way that they are.
I think it's just marking a secondary...
She's separating her entries.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I thought it was Morse code, but it's not.
Well, do we want to go through these messages real quick?
We always go through those messages at the...
Well, I know, but they intentionally...
This is where we're at.
They intentionally said that, like, they brought it up this time. So, first one says, finally have connection. The hotspot I brought working, but I don't know for how long. It's connected for seconds at a time before, but never long enough for me to send a post. I don't know if it comes back. No, I went out fighting. Give all my books to Anthony Rapone, and everything else to my sister. The map was right and the path was sure, but the land is wrong, wrong, wrong. Nothing comes in, nothing goes out. No sun, no service, no salvation. Just static and sadness. Where is the sun? Where are the children? Where am I? Who am I?
Great.
What am I?
Fantastic.
Please help. Please help. Please help. Please help. Please help. Please help.
Yeah.
Please help. Please help. Please help.
But then it starts getting
Please, and then it starts getting really weird.
jumbled, yeah.
And this last one, it looks like it's jumbled, but I can read it. We cannot leave. We cannot die. We can only do what she lets us. There's also another good friends post.
The Kent family curse. We were already jumping. Fuck you,
Fucking
Karen
Karen.
Schultz. Get out of here, dude. I told you all they were cursed and none of you blinked an eye. First the husband dies in that horrific accident, then the children go missing, and now the wife can't be found. It's more than bad luck. Shelley Frost. Rosemary's gone now too? It's a small town. Why didn't you know that? When is the last time anyone saw or heard from her? What is the sheriff doing to address the new development? How has he let things get this dire? The sheriff's uncle would never have stood for any of this. Emmett Lanning would have fought tooth and nail to save the entire family from the very beginning. This town has gone nowhere but downhill ever since West took over the mantle of sheriff. Maybe this is River Wong. Maybe Rosemary realized that there was nothing left for her here and moved away, just like her older sister did. Isn't that the most rational explanation after all? Alexander Johnson, jumping back in. A few days ago, I saw her car parked by the edge of the woods, completely empty. Got a rational explanation for that. I reported it to Sheriff Lanning, of course, and he just seemed sad and tired to hear about it. Andrea Tan. Come on, Karen. You don't really think the family's cursed, do you? What does the sheriff say? She hasn't been gone too long. There really is no reason to panic. Elias. If you ask me, Rosemary started this whole thing, getting the town worked up and nervous when she's been the one behind it all. I mean, look at the facts. We all know that the family's been falling apart since Hudson passed. Then the children go missing, and all of a sudden she goes missing too. I smell foul play. We spent all this time out checking the woods. Who's to say we shouldn't have been looking in the Kent family basement the whole time? Maybe Rosemary's finally finished with the sick plan she'd been plotting all along, and now she's halfway across the country with a stolen car, a new name, and a new haircut. What a weird fucking thing. I bet anything that that one of us is next. Family curse or not, there's no way that this horrible wave of tragedy is going to end with the Kents. Curtis, I think this is the first time we've heard from Curtis. Everyone needs to calm down. Sure, weird things are happening, but weird things have always happened. My family's lived here for generations. We've always minded our own business and kept our heads down, and we've all been fine. No matter how strange things get, as long as we avoid getting into the forest after dark, we'll be fine. I'm sure that's where the Kent boys went astray, the poor things. Maybe it's where Rosemary and Hud went wrong, too. Greg's jumping back in. Curtis is right. The worst thing that have happened to folks, all the well and truly unexplainable deaths and disappearances, and even the sightings of unnatural creatures, all those have only happened past dark. We're fine as long as we're safe in our homes by dusk. Ooh, Anthony, new post, completely new. I've seen everybody talking over the past few days, and I feel the need to remind you all that Rosemary is still out there in the woods. We can still find her. She would look for any of us if we went missing, and you all know it. Rosemary organized the past 4 town festivals practically all by herself. She was there to help clean up after the museum caught fire. She has one of the biggest hearts out of all of us. She's always been there for us. We need to be there for her. He's pining for her hard. Sarah.
Why? Why can't he just be a friend?
Sarah Schroeder. I'm sorry for your loss, Anthony, but I think that you need to take a deep breath and come to terms with reality. We still haven't gotten any information about the goings-on in the forest or any of the odd occurrences of the town. It's unfortunate what has happened to the Kents, but we need to come to move on from this terrible tragedy as a community. Harriet. Fucking Harriet, thank God. Voice of reason. Disappearances aren't new here. The panic isn't new. This town is a graveyard. Our tombs are marked. It's only a matter of time. Whether we stay out or not, the woods will take us all. Okay, I was wrong. Sorry about it. All right, so the tree rubbings start out scary and just get worse.
Excellent.
So the first one, you pretend to be so strong, but I see you tremble when you think you're alone. And then in regular words, it says they're losing faith in you. Then you will not win. She's the only one who ever wins in these woods. You're too foolish to accept your fate. Your children have. Your husband has. Now it's your turn. There's nobody left for you. Mm-hmm. It's time to let go. Mm-hmm. Nobody and nothing. Welcome home.
Mm-hmm. Great. Mm-hmm. So this is what was in the cigarette case?
Is it Henry's note?
It doesn't... Yes, but we don't know who Henry is.
Okay.
But I'm assuming it is in one of these things as who Henry is. But I can hear those things at night, slinking around, scratching up against the walls, moaning like dying men. Also, what are we trying... Oh, the code. They want us to know that the only thing keeping them out is the light. If anything ever happens to the breaker room, if the power ever goes out, then that's it. We lose the only thing that keeps them away at night, and then they'll get us just like they got James.
James?
They called it an accident in the official report, but we all know that isn't true. I can hear their screams when I'm out there. The people who have died, and who are dying, and who haven't died yet, and who will never die, ripples through the time, stuck in place like the rings of a tree. James is one of them now. Maybe he always has been. Everything's all mixed up, even my brain. I can't remember.
That's
my
a regular light that
before
you're using now. It's not even on the black light.
What?
It is. It's a black light.
There is only one thing that says a black
It's just
light.
a black light.
Oh.
Everything's all mixed up, even my brain. I can't remember my life before I walked into this forest. I can't remember the faces of my brother and sister, and I can barely tell when I'm awake or when I'm dreaming anymore. The fear is too much. The sound of their scratching at the window panes and her whispering in my ear. But all that matters is that I remember the 5 numbers. As long as I follow the 5 steps, I'll always be able to reach the light.
Excellent.
All right. The trees that bleed like wounded men.
This is going to be in the map.
Adam
Lost
as much as the
posted. No.
Stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Stopped
Clock.
Mm-hmm.
When
When he fell asleep. What was that? Adam lost as much as the stopped clock when he fell asleep. 3s. That's a lot.
strengthen.
Nice. In numbers. 3 strengthen in numbers. The
Hammer? No.
It's an N. It has to be, because that's a capital.
Mm-hmm.
Herman?
The Herman?
Family, yeah.
The Herman family
Needs.
to be together to
Light.
light the way. All the fires he lit to keep them away 1 week before the
Woodland.
whoa, nice woodland was
Founded.
So each one of those is gonna be a clue to the.
to the thing. So write these down so we don't have to
Yeah.
continue to. So 1.
Hold on. Yep.
The trees that bleed like wounded men.
Okay.
2. Adam lost as much as the stopped clock when he fell asleep.
Okay.
3s strengthen in numbers. And it's 3s with an apostrophe. Period.
Okay.
The, what did we decide
Herman.
it was? Herman family
Mm-hmm.
needs to be together
That number is 5.
to light the way. How do you know that? Oh, yep.
Nathan and Sylvie Herman, alongside their children, Una.
Una, Julian, and Mary.
So if the Herman family needs to be together, it's 5 total people.
Mm-hmm. 4. All the fires he lit to keep them away. And 5, 1 week before the woodland was founded.
So we know one of the 5 letters is one of the 5 numbers is 5.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so this was from June 21st. This is from May 4th. Which one do we want to read first?
Well, this is incident reports, and then that one is.
This is also, it's a report on the working conditions.
Let's do the working conditions so we know what we were working with before the incident happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was initially called in by the state of Maryland.
When does this take place?
June. This is May. This
June
happens
of
first.
1950? Well, then do them in chronological order.
That's what I asked.
It's been fun. Time to burn the forest down. Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to think you're right. There's nothing wrong with a good forest fire in Maryland. It's only going to make the trees stronger.
Incident report. Category: violence.
Great.
Filer: John Martell. Date: May 4th, 1956. Loggers Daniel Calder and Edward McCune, engaged in a vicious fist fight today during their lunch break. I can recount what I saw of the fight: that Mr. Calder stormed into the lunchroom and, seemingly unprovoked, attacked Mr. McCune. The fight escalated quickly, and the onlookers certainly did not help. We have had fights here before, but this particular altercation was remarkably vicious, with both men sustaining severe bruising, multiple cuts, and several deep bite marks. Mr. Calder also appeared to have cracked a rib and lost 4 of his teeth. As I was pulling the 2 men apart, I could hear Mr. Calder shouting at Mr. McCune that he needed to stop talking about the children, that she could hear everything that he said, and that he didn't want to draw her attention. Both men were sent home to cool off. Their pay has been docked for the day. Oh, these are just
Useless.
different reports. Okay, so trespassing. Henry Kent.
Oh.
I noticed evidence of trespassing in the logging area when doing normal rounds just before sundown. I investigated a series of scuffling noises that began inside the mill and moved outdoors. I pointed my flashlight into the woods, and though I could see nothing with its beam, the noises continued. What began as low rustling might have mistaken for raccoons seemed to change into something resembling muffled voices. Taking one of the higher-powered equipment lights in an attempt to frighten off any potential trespassers, I shone it in the direction of the North Hills, where I caught temporary sight of the intruder. I glimpsed the intruder for a moment and only saw a large, pale person. At the distance, I saw him. I couldn't tell if he was wearing tight, skin-toned clothing or if he was nude. He was, however, moving incredibly fast at the crest of the North Hill. The being ran over the hill and further into the woods. Ew. All right, June 18th, 1956, so this is 3 days before this. Amelia Hooper came running into the mill from her lunch break, which she'd taken in town, and reported to me that someone had vandalized every single car in the mill's parking lot. I followed her out to the lot and found that she was right. Every single car and truck in the lot were covered bumper to bumper in dents the size of baseballs, and there was glass all over the gravel. And around every car were small stones. It's conceivable that somebody could have wound up a good pitch and dented metal with rocks of those sizes, but who could it have been and when? Even when all the machinery going, someone would have noticed. There are always men working near the front of the building, which is filled with windows. I even found a few who said they were right there before Amelia came in and they didn't see or hear a thing. Strangely, though, there was one pile of rocks that had been stacked perfectly right in front of James Berman's car. What a thing. All right, so I believe James is the one who died.
James was also in the fist fight at the beginning.
Berman? No, he wasn't.
James?
No, it was Daniel Calder and Edward McCune.
Oh, somebody said something about it. There's something in here about a James.
This is what said something about a James.
Something else.
This said something about James.
Okay.
June 18th. Witness report. Dictated from the verbal testament of Edward Daniels. Thanks for taking this down, Mr. Martell. I don't know if I could... So anyways, James was there, right next to Henry Kent, when it happened. He looked kind of shell-shocked, James. I don't know if anything brought it on. It just happened to be carrying another axe down to Adam. I saw James out of the corner of my eye, just standing there. I didn't know what he was up to, if something was happening, but he looked off into the woods. It seemed like he was just listening to something. I saw him do this little nod, and then James just jabbed his right arm straight into the chipper and kept pressing it in.
Oh.
He just kept pressing it further and further down, even when a few of the men grabbed onto him and tried to pull him away. He mangled his arm up to almost up to the shoulder by the time someone had the wherewithal to switch the damn thing off. We tried to help stop the bleeding, but he just kept struggling and yelling something about doing what's asked of him. He bled out just before the ambulance arrived. It happened at 3 o'clock on the dot. Did you notice? Look at your watch. Every clock in this place stopped working the second his hand hit those blades.
The clock thing.
Yeah, there's a clock. 3,
Adam lost as much as the stop clock when he fell asleep. 3.
yeah.
But what did Adam lose? 3 fingers because that hand only had 2. The hand from the note.
Well, I just happened to be carrying another axe down to Adam.
Right, but in the note, in one of these things, somebody saw a pale hand.
Adam. We might get that answer from here.
Okay. Well, the answer's 3. He lost 3 fingers.
Employee health. Dictated from the verbal testament of Adam Barrett. I've been having dreams about James' death almost every single night since it happened. Dreams where I can always hear a man calling for help somewhere in the forest. Maybe it's James. I can always hear him screaming, and even though I can't see him, I somehow know in my heart he's trapped underneath a gigantic white tree.
Ugh.
Yep. Sometimes in these dreams I run into the forest to find him, but no matter which direction I go, I never can. And whenever I wake up from one of these dreams, I always find leaves and sticks in my bed, like I've been sleepwalking.
What the
Except
fuck?
my feet are never dirty. And listen, I know that this might seem like something I shouldn't be coming to you about, John, but we've worked together for nearly 10 years, and I need someone to know that lately I haven't just been hearing the screaming in my dreams at night. I've been hearing it in the distance, whenever I go out in the woods. None of the other men can hear them. Nobody will go out to look for where they're coming from with me, and there's no way in hell I'm going out there alone, so I've just been going about my work day after day trying to ignore the screaming. I've got to tell you, I'm nearly at the end of my rope.
The same thing happened last box.
It's not just the screaming. I've been seeing body parts everywhere over the past few weeks, and no one else can see them. Severed arms lying on the ground when I'm outside, seared fingers floating in my coffee. Sometimes I look down to see my own hands falling off as though they're gangrenous, and then I blink and they're fine again. Last night I dreamed that my right thumb, forefinger, and middle finger were collected by a creature that was as pale as the corpse. I thought it might have been James since I was wearing his clothes, but I couldn't tell for sure because its face had rotted off. The other boys are dreaming about things like that too. They don't say it out loud, but I can tell from how quickly they change the subject when I tell them about my own dreams. Maybe they're seeing things during the day too. I just won't admit it. I can't be the only one losing my mind around here. Mm-hmm. So that, yeah, it's 3. July 2nd.
So this is after the working conditions report.
We're about to get one of the other numbers too. Edward McCune was discovered in the late evening setting fire to various areas of the lumber mill. Mm-hmm. I had forgotten something at the mill when I entered the building. I discovered McCune pouring gasoline onto a table and holding a lighter. I moved to confiscate both the gasoline and the lighter immediately, and he did not resist. I started pressing him about his actions. He just calmly asked me to help him. He said that he was doing his part to keep the boys safe and that he was almost finished, that he had one more fire to set before the building was safe. I realized the implication of his statement and immediately run through the building. When I found and began stomping the first fire, which was thankfully relatively small, McCune became angry. He tried to physically prevent me from extinguishing the flame, and then, when it became clear that I could overpower him, he tried to beg me to leave the fires burning instead. At that point, I decked him square across the face and he passed out. I left him on the ground and continued to check the buildings for fires. In all, I managed to find and put out 4 separate fires in total. Once I was sure the building was safe, I found McCune again. He was right, where I had left him. Though he had regained consciousness, he seemed unfazed and even offered to provide an explanation for his activities. It's not safe out there in the dark, Johnny. I was just making it okay so the boys could go to work in the morning. You know, if we let it stay dark in here too long, they're going to creep in. When I asked him specifically what he was trying to prevent, he seemed unable to put it into words. He was only able to tell me that it was something related to the woods. It practically goes without me saying, but I, of course, terminated McCune's employment and reported him to police for arson.
Fuck off, dude.
The number of fires set to keep them away.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
Now,
4 or
maybe
5.
4 or 5. That's,
He only set 4.
He only set 4, but he was working on setting another one.
5th.
So if 4 isn't right, we do 5.
All right, so what?
We're looking for bleeding trees and 1 week before the woodland was founded.
Okay. All right. That's from June 21st.
I never turned the music back on.
You did not. I was initially called in by the I think it's funny because Kat put "what the hell" and there's been so much fucked up shit in this one that I don't know what she's referring to.
He was talking about the arm and
the arm. Okay.
And the chipper.
I was essentially called in by the state of Maryland to perform an incident analysis in the case of a worker's death at the Creekside Timber Company's Black Hills Forest facility. During my inspection, I noted concrete, widespread evidence of failure to observe basic security protocols, unsafe working conditions throughout the facility, and a pattern of wildly inappropriate behavior from nearly all the site's employees. I've also noticed some sort of hysteria affecting the workers, the psychological effect which seems to predate the death of James Berman.
Predate.
Yes. All right, inspection of the wood chipper. I focused much of my initial inspection of the wood chipper involved in the Creekside employee's death. A thorough examination revealed nothing faulty with the machine itself. However, during my inspection, I discovered no fewer than 7 children's handprints upon the lower third of the machine's outer body. Foreman Martel claimed to have no knowledge of any children's presence, and I further claimed that the machine had not been touched since the accident. I find myself dubious of this claim on both fronts, as the handprints appeared to be fresh. Whatever substance they were made from was wet, viscous, and warm to the touch.
Like the guy's boots from last time.
Mm-hmm. The discovery of these handprints prompted me to search the entire facility for further evidence of the presence of children. I soon came to observe additional handprints inside the break room, foreman's office, 2 bathrooms, and most perplexingly of all, on the ceiling directly above the secretary's desk.
Ugh.
It was at this point in my inspection when as I looked up at the handprint on the ceiling, a rusted light fixture very nearly fell upon my head. Had I been standing 3 feet to the left, I would have sustained grave injury. Although the handprints covered the facility, no further evidence of the presence of children turned up during my inspection. However, the evidence of the presence of minors on the premises is irrefutable and damning. To allow young children on the premises at all, let alone near such dangerous pieces of machinery, is an unconscionable oversight on the part of the Creekside management. Psychological effects. During my inspection of Creekside Timber Company, I also observed significant and alarming abnormalities in the behavior of its employees. On my tour with Foreman John Martell, I heard multiple workers whisper things to the effect of me not belonging there, that I could at least understand being in a small town and with the recent accident, but I represented the possibility of a shutdown and therefore lost paycheck. But some of those remarks moved beyond simple hostility and into the nonsensical and unnerving. I heard one man say that I should stand in the corner.
Ugh.
And another that I would listen when she tells me to leave. I also repeatedly observed workers behaving negligently. Multiple men appeared to be staring off into the woods while operating dangerous machinery such as wood chippers and saws, and while swinging axes. When I approached to reprimand them for their actions, these workers all responded with a slight confusion followed by disbelief and denial that they had indeed been staring into the distance at all. I also observed one worker counting his own 10 fingers. He did this multiple times, when he would seem satisfied with the number and then count again. When I asked him what he was doing, he seemed to snap out of his stupor and said, in all seriousness, just wanted to make sure it was all still there.
Ugh. Jesus. This is 56?
Yeah.
Christ.
Working conditions. Many of
These
the men I
guys were probably
spoke to...
veterans, too.
Yeah. Over the course of my inspection, seemed to have bought into a superstition about rocks, of all things. They claimed to fear the appearance of small piles of stones as omens of death and injury. I happened to find one such pile just outside my own automobile as I was finishing my inspection. There was no sign of damage, simply piles of rock outside my door, on my hood, and on my roof. I can only assume this was a pathetic attempt at a practical joke by a disgruntled employee. Additionally, nearly everyone on the company's payroll reports missing time, of which there is seemingly some evidence. Mr. Martell showed me employee complaints with time discrepancies no one could understand. The time shown on the cards did not match what the employees reported, nor the amount of work they were supposed to have completed in that time. Others have worked for what feels like to be an entire day, but returned with no more timber than they chopped in an hour. Men shown clocking in for only an hour claim to have worked their entire shifts and have returned with a day's worth of wood. When I asked Mr. Martell if this discrepancy could be the result of human error or if he could have found himself the butt of a practical joke, he said he trusted his men implicitly. An inspection of the timekeeping machine also proved it to be in perfect working order. Unknown, possibly toxic substance. Found at the Creekside Timber Company was what many of the men have referred to as strange slime leaking from the trees.
Fuck.
I interviewed a man who, weeks before Berman's death, first discovered the substance, a logger named Adam Barrett. He described an incident in which he and his co-worker Simon Donner came across trees that, to use his word, bleeding. By his account, 8 separate trees in the same vicinity discharged the substance in place of sap. Barrett and Donner marked any affected trees with the X. The men could not replicate this phenomena for me. They brought me to the alleged affected trees, and observing the proper safety protocol, proceeded to peel back the initial layer of bark only to find regular sap. I watched them cut into every marked tree only to find nothing out of the ordinary. The men did, however, claim to have kept some of this dark mucus-like material in a jar and produced it from the safe in the foreman's office. The loggers all insisted it came from one of the trees they attempted to cut down, but to me it smelled like little more than scorched engine oil. Conclusion. For the reasons herein compiled, it is my conclusion that Creekside Timber Company should immediately cease all present and future operations at their Black Hills Forest facility until such a time that a more thorough analysis of both the building and employees can be completed and a safe reopening can be confirmed. I will be sending copies of my recommendation to all pertinent state officials as well as to the company itself. So now we just need to figure out
When was the company founded?
when
Got it.
the Woodlands
Yep.
was founded. 1 week before the Woodland was founded, which you have a 2 marked there.
South Woodland Academy, established August 9th, 1789. 7 days before then was August the 2nd, so I wrote down a 2.
Okay.
I
like
wasn't
it.
going to let something hidden on my head prevent us from getting out of another murder mystery.
That's a throwback.
Yeah. Although, actually, now you mention that, I was thinking on my drive home tonight, how cool would it be to do something like this, where it's a mixture of an escape room / haunted house, like in woods, and like where you can have like 8 people that are on your team, and you go through like a 2-hour thing, and where you have like a handful of actors that are portraying different things,
Sure.
and you use like different technologies and things to like have like sounds play and projections and stuff, and they have to like figure things out as they're going through it. It's not just a traditional. Hi, Tom. How's PAX?
Man, it's been a
Love
fucking
you and miss you.
Australian minute, dude.
Which are like American minutes, just upside down. Alright, so do we have the code?
Yes.
I think so, anyway. The only thing we're questioning is this:
These
is it a 4 or a 5?
That's fine.
Alright, so
Ready?
am I going to put a space between them, I'm guessing?
No.
I don't know. I wouldn't.
Alright. What's the numbers?
One more.
5-digit code. Don't put
Yeah.
a space.
Okay.
8, 3, 5, 4, 2.
Possibly 83552. Well, she responded.
But wasn't it Rosemary Kent before?
No, it's always been
Is it
Rosemary.
Rosemary?
Yeah.
Wait, if this isn't... Are we hearing a new
She
voice?
shouldn't be
Responding.
responding. Unless Anthony has access, which he said he did, to the website.
I'm scared.
I'm going to pause this real quick. Hold on.
Oh, we were right. Turn up the desktop audio for them. Yay, good.
This guy's 3 minutes.
We still have one more box.
Looks like we're finishing this tonight.
It's you! I don't know how you managed to get in touch, but you've got a hell of a sense of timing. Are these what I think they are?
Yeah, dude. We got you.
How did you even know that I needed this? You know what? I'm just going to go with it. Everything in my life is already so goddamn bizarre. You know, I was about to try every possible combination on the lock until I got 100,000 possible combinations. Would have taken me a long time. If what you just sent me is right. Whoa. Okay. Let's get these lights on.
I'm outside. There was a flash of light, and then it was dark, and now everything is gone, and I'm outside. Tank!
Where are you, boy?
Tank! Please, come back! I see a light. It's not far.
I think she tried to burn over there.
It looks like a campfire. I'm going to get closer to get a better look. There are people around the fire. 3 of them. It has to be my boys. And Carver. I'm going to get them and take them.
Well, we'll see you guys on Monday.
Fuck off! That's scary shit!
Okay, 1, I'm upset because the dog. 2, they said that this place had been torn down years ago.
Did you hear that sheep squatch motherfucker that rolled in through the window?
Tank!
Fuck, dude.
We have one box left. What if it leaves on a cliffhanger because they have the second season?
No, we won't do that.
The second box will be Anthony putting together all of his cryptid knowledge to go fucking burn this bitch down. Where's that box? Hold on, let me clean up box 4 first.
Here's box 4's box. If you want to try to keep things somewhat organized.
This is actually
nice.
a really nice little like
you could use this for like a murder mystery if you have to get a
yeah, for
period.
sure.
Or we could keep doobies in it.
Or that.
BGH doobies.
It's legit.
Where do you even get a cigarette case?
1908
or something like
02.
that.
02.
Tom, you came in on one of the scariest things we've been doing. So, good job. Good on ya. Don't like that. No, that's just this. That's just this. Because that's what all of them sounded like. Here, will you put all of this in the bag? This also has to go in there, but I'm going to keep it. No, put the papers in the thing.
Is this all 5? This is all 4, right?
Yeah, that's 3 or
No,
4.
4.
So this is. This is box 6, not box 5. That wasn't box 4. That was box 5. So we have a box back here.
So after this, we take out all of like the prop part
stuff,
of things. And
yeah.
Honestly, I've been keeping the props out. So.
Well, but there's some of them. There's some that are in there, like the pencil booklet thing, and
Yeah, the pencil case is still in there.
And the little Liam doll.
Oh, ugh. Nobody needs that.
I don't like that that was out.
The super neutral thing?
Yeah, the super neutral.
It's got all kinds of fucking markings on it.
I think it's got markings on it.
Oh, is that it just highlighting the art that's already on there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Alright, folks, this is the last box. We're gonna fucking find out what happens to the Kent family.
I don't like Anthony's. What he wrote on this.
What do you write? The Black Hills Forest is full of many stories. This guy is gonna fucking profit from this loss. It says every time something horrible happens. What the fuck? Every time something horrible happens, people come to exploit the story. Anthony, is that us? Are we exploiting the story? What is this? Is this what just got pulled out?
Yeah.
Ugh. Let me just eyeball this fucking thing. At least it's not made of actual wood.
Put it on. It's a necklace.
At least they knew to resin cast it and not just send her out.
Oh, your head's too big. Your head's still too big.
What the fuck? Nobody can put their head in here.
Don't do that. You're gonna break it when you're moving your arm around.
All right, hello, investigator. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up. Rosemary and the boys are still nowhere to be found, and being involved in this search has me constantly looking over my shoulder and feeling as though I'm on the verge of a nervous breakdown. I have no idea how you've managed to keep this up for so long, but I'm getting off track. There's been a development.
Hey, dude, it's been 2 weeks.
Someone uploaded a new file to Rosemary's website.
No.
Based on the site's permissions, it must have been sent from Rosemary's phone.
Okay.
However, the file is password protected, and I haven't been able to access it. I put in every possible passcode I could think of. I don't want to know what it is.
Oh, God.
Then I tried to answer the security question to bypass the password protection, but I had no luck there either. It was a very strange question. I completely run out of ideas on what to do when Tank showed up scratching at my doorstep.
He's alive!
Tank is alive! Tank's alive! Half starved and matted in dirt!
Oh, poor baby.
Tank barely recognized me. He growled at me like I might hurt him at first, but he eventually seemed to remember who I was. When I finally thought he'd calmed down, he just took off like he was chasing a squirrel. I followed him from my front porch all the way to the edge of the woods, but he stopped right before the border. It wasn't like he was afraid, though, like he wanted me to follow, just like he wanted me to follow him. I must have stood there for 15 minutes before I had the courage to finally do it. I think the only reason I did it was because it was broad daylight. Tank led me to this old white tree stump in the middle of the hollow of trees.
Fuck off.
Rosemary told me about this place. It was where she and Hudson would leave notes for one another as teenagers. The stump was hollowed out, just like she mentioned it was, but most of the notes inside of it seemed to have been put there recently, along with a letter and a pendant that seemed to come straight from the carver. But that can't cause us to lose hope entirely, because of another of the more recent-looking notes was written by Rosemary herself. I'm sending you everything I found in the stump. Based on what Rosemary wrote, it sounds like she knows there are people out there looking for her, and she's trying to leave them as much of a trail as she can. The items and papers that were hidden in the stump all seem to be about the Kent family, although I doubt that Rosemary put all of them there herself. I don't want to dwell on who put them there, because whatever answer I come up with will likely cause me to experience a full-blown panic attack. The important thing to focus on is that perhaps the answer to the security question is hiding somewhere within those documents. If you can answer the security question on the locked file, you can unlock the file, maybe we'll get the answer we need. I'm counting on you. I have chili bumps, and I don't like it.
Chili bumps.
Chili bumps. Alright, so we have more...
I still don't trust Anthony.
More journal entries, a note from the carver.
Note from the carver.
Newspaper clipping, a picture.
Hey, Tank is not a golden retriever. He's a husky.
That's not a husky. It's more German Shepherd mix of some sort. A Shepherd mix. Letters between her and Hud.
Show him the top cam.
Hold on.
Critters.
Their faces are...
Forget the creepy faces. Look how cute Tank is.
Wait, what did...
Says light reveals the hidden creatures, but I want to put them together first before you put them underneath the light.
All right, well, you put them together, and I'll read some of this
Somebody read
stuff.
that. God damn it.
Uh,
Oh, there's something on the back. Oh, can feel
Liam.
Near me, I can. What can feel Liam near me? I can. No. I don't know that word.
what is it?
I can't figure that one out. Do you know it? This is what I'm putting together.
I can.
I know what it does. It's not the black light. I know what it does.
I do too. I can tell what it does. We can do it. We can turn off this light and do it behind us.
Yeah.
We still use the black light to do it though.
Sure.
Hey, get out! Go on, get.
I don't know, dude. All right, Rosemary's journal pages. I followed the light of the fire for hours and hours until I got close enough to see the fire itself in the distance, with 3 figures standing around it. I would know Liam and Tristan a mile away. Wishful thinking or maybe nostalgia almost tempted me to think that the third silhouette was Hud at first. It used to be such a familiar sight, the 3 of them together. But the third silhouette could only have been Carver. I don't know what I expected, thinking about Carver all this time and not actually seeing him, but he was just a regular person. Just a man with a face that was caked in mud and eyes that reflected the firelight. I thought that was it. That it was finally time to confront Carver once and for all, but as I started to get close, the firelight changed. It got brighter and brighter the closer I got. It was loud and violent and angry, and the 3 of them just sat there staring into the fire as the light got so bright that I couldn't see them at all anymore. And then it snapped off like someone flipped a switch. When I could see again, I was there alone in the dark by myself. I don't know how long I sat there calling into the dark. He got away from me this time, but I was there looking right at him, and he didn't even know it. Was this how he felt when he was watching me and the boys, like an animal circling its prey? There's no direction anymore. I tried to mark trees so I'd know where I'd been. I drew big X's so that I wouldn't be able to miss them. At first it seemed to be working. I seemed to be going in a new direction, no marks on any trees, but then out of nowhere, every tree was marked. Every single goddamn tree was marked with my and HUD's initials, just like when he left our mark on the trees when we were kids. New entry. I hear children, but they're not mine. New entry. Someone screaming in the dark. A man calling out for help. The voice is familiar, but I can't quite place it. New entry. The screaming hasn't stopped, but I think I recognize who it's coming from now. I think it's the old Sheriff Lanning. Wes Lanning's Uncle Emmett. I remember him visiting my school when I was a kid, talking about stranger danger. He can't really be out here. I must be hearing things. New entry. I tried to find the source of the screaming. It got louder and louder, calling for help over and over again until it finally turned into wordless howls of pain, and then there was silence. I'm alone again. Fucking hate it.
The word is almost.
Almost.
Oh. I saw what I had thought might have been another person at first. Someone wearing all white. Someone else lost in the woods. Then it came closer and I saw that it was something with flesh the color of maggots and barely any meat on its bones. Its skin was twitching and writhing as though it was full of insects. I tried to hide behind some trees, holding my breath in case it heard me. Then it slowly turned toward my direction, and I saw that it didn't have a face. It started walking toward me and then running. I was so afraid that I couldn't move. I just scrunched my eyes closed and thought, this can't be it. And then, when I didn't feel any pain for a long moment, I opened my eyes and realized that I was curled up in my tent. I must have dreamed it, although I don't remember falling asleep or even setting up the tent. New entry. I woke up in the middle of the night to the sensation of hands around my neck, but of course there was no one there. Still, my neck hurt, and I used the camera on my phone to take a look at it. There are 2 handprint-shaped bruises circling my neck. Even now, hours later, they're throbbing in pain. It hurts to call out for Tristan and Liam, but that's not going to stop me. I thought the sun was going to come up. I had hope for just a second. I was sleeping, not that I knew what time it was, only that I was tired and had to lie down for just a minute, and when I opened my eyes, there was light. It was sunrise. I sat there for hours just staring at it, hoping, praying the sun would find the strength to rise, but it sunk back down, swallowed up by the endless canopy of trees. New entry. I think I've moved past fear somehow. I'm seeing the stick figures. I'm hearing things all around me, and I'm noticing how my heart isn't pounding, how I can't feel the blood rushing into my ears anymore. Now I hear things in the night, and I scream back at them. I found the stump, the spot where HUD and I used to leave each other's notes. It's the place where we used to meet. The hours spent here were some of the happiest I've ever had. Even this place I shared with my husband has now been tainted. This goddamn forest is taking everything from me. Some of this stuff shouldn't even be here. When I think about it, though, I should have expected one more insult from this forest. Tristan's birth announcement. God, this place is taunting me. Carver's taunting me. But I'm going to be the one to win in the end. I have to be. As difficult as it is to maintain hope, I can't entertain any other possibility right now. There's no point in writing any of this down to try to account for what's real and what's nightmare, because it doesn't really matter. I'm going to leave these found pages here. Maybe someday somebody will find them. I'm going to keep searching, keep looking for my boys. I'm not leaving these woods without them. God, I hope someone finds this. If someone does, if someone is actually reading this, don't come in here. Not if my boys somehow make it out. If they get out and I'm still in here, don't come get me. You'll only get lost too.
There's the rest of it. What does it say?
I feel like there's gonna be more parts to it, like, because this starts with can.
I believe this is half a word. I think it's matters, but I can't give up I.
I think it's gonna be a full circle.
Yeah, it is.
Can I see those pages?
Yes. I've got Liam's birth announcement here that was in the stump when she got there from the Burkittsville Town Bugle. Jesus.
Let's go back.
A hunting with more writing in the circle. Local newborn nearly hits the trails by R.B. Bird, who we've spoken to before. Lifelong Burkittsville resident Rosemary Kent entered into labor 2 months early while taking a scenic stroll through the Black Hills Forest with her husband Saturday. The Kents have made a habit of taking a light walk every day just to get out of the house, according to Father Hudson Kent. I remember catching a glimpse of our initials carved high up in a tree inside of a heart, which I knew we did as teenagers, Rosemary Kent said. Only this looked fresh. It was still bleeding dark sap. Then I felt a chill go down my spine, and I knew that Tristan was going to be born on that day, and if we didn't get moving, it would happen right there in the forest. Kent reflected with a smile as she held the newborn Tristan in her arms. The kid is creepy. The Kents rushed to the hospital where Rosemary gave birth to a healthy baby boy, according to doctors. Despite his premature birth, doctors said Tristan Kent was in great health, although his ecstatic parents were surprised to note that he didn't even cry. What can I say besides I'm glad we made it out in time and got Rosie and the baby to a hospital, Hudson Kent said. I can't imagine anything worse than being stuck in the forest with a medical emergency to worry about, let alone when there's a kid involved. Tristan will be kept in the hospital under observation for a few more days before being sent home to join his adoring family, according to Rosemary Kent.
You might want to go help Lynx. Oh, never mind, she's good.
2 months early. He's got black eyes. And then this says, hear him, I think he's...
Lynx, stop it.
I think he's...
By the way, this right now says, can feel Liam near me, but I can feel Liam near me. I can almost rest, but I can't give up.
Hear him, I think he's...
If you want to keep reading, I'll figure that out real quick.
It's time to something. This is Love Notes. Love Notes from Hudson, circa 1997.
And then we have a note from the Carver.
Yeah. Rosemary, you've been on my mind all day. I was barely able to focus in class. I've been thinking about asking you to the festival in a few weeks, but there's no way in a million years that I've ever been able to summon the courage. Still, I can't help but imagine us on top of the Ferris wheel, kissing and holding hands.
Aww.
I imagine that it's just the two of us, looking down on the town and the sea of trees beyond it. Instead, I'm out here all alone in the sea of trees, right by where those college students supposedly went missing a while back, and that poor little boy, too. Hello? You know there's a blood stain on the tree trunk I'm sitting next to right now. It's mine, from a time I must have gotten a wicked splinter or something without noticing, and it's almost perfectly in the shape of my hand, even though I could have sworn that I didn't bleed nearly that much when I got cut. I can press my own palm against it, and it almost feels warm. That's how lonely and pathetic I am. I've been reduced to holding hands with a tree. I've been out here since sunrise, and I guarantee that when I get back home in a few hours, the only thing my parents will care about is whether or not I track mud into the house, and not that I've been hanging out in the murder forest for weeks, playing hooky and writing down my daydreams about a girl who barely knows I exist. You know, like a total creep. God, I am lame. He spilled something. You're never going to see this because there's no way in hell that I'm ever going to give it to you. I'm going to shove this letter all the way to the back of the hollow of this tree and shove any thought of you all the way to the back of my mind. HUD. That was from October the 6th, 1997. This is a note from Rosemary. HUD, even though the walk was long and even though I got more than a few cuts and bruises on the way, I'm very glad that I insisted you bring me to the hollow yesterday and that you let me bully you into showing me the note that you wrote. I know that you go out there pretty often, even though I can't for the life of me understand why, so I hope you'll find this note in the next few days. I'm about to sneak out of my own to hide it inside the stump right next to the first one. Things have been tough at home lately. Jess has been a total mess lately, and my parents seem to think that ignoring the fact that she's a total mess will make her less of one when it's having the opposite effect. This might sound silly, but I'd kind of been blaming this place for all of my family's problems, even though I don't believe in any of the stories. Like, not even a little bit. But still, some part of them must have gotten to me without me even realizing it. I mean, after all, I've sure as hell been avoiding the woods up until now, but coming out here with you took away some of the mystique. A place is whatever you make it, and you've made this place a safe haven for me over the past few days. This is all to say, thanks for the note. It was good for me to read in a lot of ways. This is me returning the favor. Yes, HUD, you are very lame, but you're at least 3 times as cute as you are lame. Rosemary.
Oh.
October the 12th, 1997. I've been having the same nightmare every night for weeks about something huge and formless coming down from the sky and swallowing me up. I wake up and go about my day, but I can never shake the need to glance up at the sky and make sure I'm safe, except when I'm with you. When we're together, I forget that dream entirely. I know I'm safe when we're together. You bring me peace, Rosemary. I want to be able to bring you peace, too. October 15th, 1997. You do, Hud. You do. No one's ever made my heart beat like this. No one's ever made my words stick in my throat like you do. Even though it's cold out, even though the wind makes the dry leaves and twigs on the trees rattle like bones, when I think about you, I only think of summer and life and light. Sometimes I can't help but wonder what it would be like if sometime in the spring we stayed out here late into the night and watched the stars. Just think about waking up next to each other in the morning when the sun shines through the leaves. I know we couldn't actually go through with it, but I like to picture it nonetheless. October 17th. I'll watch the stars with you anytime and almost anywhere. Not here, but anywhere else. My mom always tells me that love is hard work, but falling for you is so easy like magic. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me, my protection against everyone and everything else in this town.
Do you want me to do the thing since you're reading?
Sure. It should be pretty easy. This cipher is simple. Here it is right here. Your. My.
Okay, well, you just do the thing.
Charm.
You're my charm.
Interesting.
Tooth.
Tooth.
What tooth?
Teeth.
The bracelet.
Bracelet.
You're my teeth?
You're my tooth.
You're my charm.
It says you're my charm.
What is the charm from the one bracelet we have that he made?
October 29th. Oh, God.
Get out.
Jump.
12 days? I'm sorry it's been so long since I've replied. My parents have been keeping a close eye on me since they saw us holding hands at the festival. My dad isn't as awful as he seemed, I promise. That present you won me is so great to play around with. I've been acting out little scenes between the animals like a kid, and that is slotting, not sledding, slotting them together and taking them apart over and over again. I like that the animals form a whole new creature when they're together. I kind of feel like you and I do that too. With love,
Your charm.
your charm. October 30th, the exact next day. I never knew that I wanted you I never knew what I wanted before you. Now I do. I want this. I want us to be loved by you. That's all I really want. Hud. October 31st. The next time we meet out here, let's
Carve our initials
into the
this
stump.
Yep.
The next time we meet here, let's carve our initials into this stump. Since the hollow area inside of it is where we've been leaving all of our letters, we should leave a mark on the place where we first fell in love. Our love will be a part of the land itself.
Think about
it.
Think about it.
R and H.
R and H.
Writing. Written. Here.
Here. Yep. Inside.
Of a little
Heart.
Yep.
Forever.
Inside a little heart forever.
Think about it. R and M written inside a little heart forever. And then
Oh god. T H A. That
sounds amazing. M-A-A-Z. Amazing.
Yep. T H E.
There
are. Yeah.
So many ways.
Nope, that's an S. S-A-D.
Sad.
S.
Stories.
About.
T. This. Place.
Place. L-E. Let's
make
a
happy
happier
one. Nope. Happy one.
Oh, that's not all one.
Yeah. Happy one tonight.
No, nope, that's an R at the end.
T.
Together.
Together. Yeah.
Let's make a happy one together. Stop it!
I know what it is.
Stop it!
What?
We were waiting for I was waiting for the big reveal so we all could do it together. Jerk.
That
We're working
was
on this all together.
that was the
I
that,
know.
Oh, way over there. What do you want me to be doing?
that was the day after Halloween. Where are my notes?
Well, what is it?
What?
What is the thing that HUD won for Rosemary at the carnival festival?
Do we want to do the light so you can see what it is?
Yeah.
We gotta actually do a light though. That's not gonna work.
So the chat can see it too. It's a
It's a
bunny.
rabbit. Lucky charm.
Yeah.
So maybe the words rabbit or bunny. Yeah, thanks. Abe.
That's better. I was trying to get the
Oh wow! Look at that.
big bunny.
I'm still missing one piece of this.
I know. I think maybe I'm. No.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Can I see those other letters to see if there's anything I'm missing?
Yeah. Give me just a second. I didn't see anything while we were. No, I don't see anything on these. You can check and
Hey, remember when you said that this is definitely supernatural?
Uh-huh.
It really, really is.
Yeah.
I just wonder if there's not, because this is from HUD. Where do you think that Liam got the pen and like writing in codes and things?
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if there's not a little something. Nope, there's nothing on the papers.
Well, this makes a full circle.
But it doesn't make a full saying.
No. But I don't have it. There's nothing, anything else. I don't see anything else.
This is a letter from the Carver. It starts out with a cipher that reads, "This message is for you, investigator. In fact, both of them are." Oh, God.
There's a spot on the back that says, "I'm so sorry, Mom."
On the last page of Rosemary's letter that she wrote when she went
No,
missing,
there's the rest of it right there.
That's part of.
Oh, was that part of
Yeah,
it?
it's part of it.
on the very last page of Rosemary's letter that she wrote after that last voicemail, it says, "I'm sorry, Mom." Carver's letter, it says at the top, "This message is for you, investigator. In fact, both of them are." Rosemary actually believes she can finish this herself. Little does she know that it's been over for years. Her family made their mark, and it sealed their fate. The one I obey had her hands wrapped tightly around them ever since. I act as her hands. The rifle shoots where the hunter points. The axe obeys the woodsman. What she wants will be done. A tree falls in the woods, she marks where it must land. An offer extended lures in the lost child. A visit at the window secures the fresh bait. A martyr is made, screaming into the empty night. Torn, wrenched apart, hacked to bits, carved. This is where it has led us. We've stitched them back together. You helped me seed the forest soil with lost souls. I can nearly see the sun rising above the trees. A new day might finally come. For me, the first in years. My work is finally finished. You don't understand, not yet, but you will.
What's the cipher say?
I told you what it said.
Oh, what did it say?
It said, "This message is for you, investigators. In fact, both of them are."
Well,
I only got one message. Unless
The
unless,
other message
yeah,
is the
the carver invaded the webpage.
what did that say about the hunter?
The rifle shoots where the hunter points. Yeah. Line it up with the rest of the things. Okay. It's not the kid. Don't do that.
I think it's the kid.
Oof. The axe obeys the woodsman. Okay, so here's a tree falls in the woods. She marks where it must land. That was Hut. An offer extended lures in the lost child. That was Liam.
That was Liam.
A visit at the window secures the fresh bait.
That was Tristan.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
What? Who was
Tristan
at the
is the
window?
fresh bait.
Okay. A martyr is made, screaming into the empty night. That is
Rosemary.
torn, wrenched apart, hacked to bits, carved.
The family in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where it has led us. We've stitched them back together. Everybody's together again, except for Tank. You helped me seed the forest soil with lost souls. That was us. We led Rosemary into the woods. Just so we're all aware. I can nearly see the sun rising above the trees. So most of this stuff has happened at night. And whatever the time dilation is for the carver, this has been one night. At least that's the way it seems.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kat.
I don't like this.
But we're still missing part of this. And
I know. I don't know.
We don't have anything else.
I mean, we have this, but there's nothing on it.
Where is the excess of this?
It's over here. There's nothing on it.
You sure?
Yeah. I checked underneath the light. The black light, there's not a single word on it. Is there anything on this in general? No, nothing written on the animals either. Where is this? That's,
Letter from Anthony.
It's over here.
Rosemary's journal pages. The note from Carver. There's nothing on that. Newspaper article with the baby. There's nothing on that. The family portrait. There is something on that one, right?
Yes, on the back of it.
Okay. And we don't have a full circle with those 4 pieces?
No, it's only 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3.
Well, that's a half circle right there.
But this does not make a full set. That's what it translates to.
We're missing like.
We're missing
One
a few
piece.
words. Wait. Where's her last letter? The
Those.
last page of her letter.
Right here.
Is that the one that says "I'm sorry, Mom"? on the
Yeah,
back
it's
of
the one
it?
that says "I'm sorry, Mom" on the back of it.
It's time to something.
I'm just saying, Super Neutral has a podcast. I found it, and it's password protected, so
Great.
I just want to know what this is.
Nothing on the back of...
No. A cat paw print. I just feel like we're missing a few words in some way, shape, or form, and I don't know from where.
Love notes, shadow construct, stickman pendant.
Yeah, we haven't used this at all.
Oh God, I'm sorry. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. This scared me, that's all. We didn't see anything like this in the previous
I don't think so.
one,
I
did
think
we?
we'd have noticed it if we would have.
Type in the new.
I already did that.
Thing.
I'm just waiting to go.
Yeah, go ahead and go. I'm just wondering if it isn't on here somewhere.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not
there's
in
a
any of this.
locked video file.
Yeah, no, I'm terrified. That's what I was afraid of.
Alright, let's go down. I'm assuming that this goes back to here. Yep, okay. Here we go. Down to the bottom.
Switch it over so they can see it.
Alright. Nothing begins and nothing ends. There's only the trees, the darkness. There has only ever been the trees in the darkness. There will only ever be the trees in the darkness and the cold and. The children are here. The children are her. The children are her.
The children are her children.
Oh, the children are her children. The children are hers. You cannot take her children from her. They are hers. They have always been hers. They will. They were marked as hers from birth. Mother will always fight for us. Father will always watch over us. From his resting place at the hollow, where he carved his heart and spilled his blood, and where she was brought by those much more powerful than she. They both, they are both so close, but they are still not together, not yet. Mom, come here. Mom, come closer. We're waiting in a cozy house with a chimney and a cold basement. Mom, please.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He made us from scratch. He scratched our skin out of the bark, carved our bones out of the branches, hacked our faces forth from the blank
flat space.
flat space of the tree trunks, bound our limbs with twine, made our bodies and broke them, and made them all over again. He's our father now. He was our father. Always come join us. Come join him, mother. Come make our family whole again.
Hate it. Read the whole thing first.
Okay. They're here. They're all around me. I can hear them laughing. Their voices are shrill and cruel, and innocent and young, and ancient. One.
None.
None of them are mine. They are all hers. They leave her handprints on the trees, and my clothes and my skin, and he is somewhere close by, waiting for me to give up and join him. Edit. This is Anthony Rapone. I just want whoever was doing this to know that it's not funny. Stop it. This is not a laughing matter. This is not a game. If one turn are missing, Rosemary, if you can somehow see this, please hang in there.
Nope. I swear to God, if this is a video of them in that goddamn basement.
Locked video. Forgot your password. You have to.
He won her this creature, which proved to be some of its parts. A bunny. A rabbit?
I'm going to put rabbit.
Yeah.
Rabbit, yeah.
You bitch.
She took
this name upon herself in secret,
and it only proved her hubris.
Hair.
What?
The hairy woman?
No. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it has to do with Rosemary.
But it's a hair.
I don't think it has anything to do with this.
I think that's just the first part.
That was just the first part of it.
She took this name upon herself in secret, and it only proved her hubris.
That's where I was going.
Her hubris being her downfall, right?
Yes.
A martyr is made, screaming into the empty night.
Martyr.
She took this name upon herself in
Excessive
secret,
pride or self-confidence.
and it only proved her hubris. It could be martyr. Unless it's in these.
I don't. I mean, the other thing that it can be. I mean,
What if
it
it's
should-
Kent? Charm.
Charm. Yeah.
Yeah, there she goes. Yeah, good job.
Her second child was mine from the moment she shuddered, while her own bleeding heart loomed above her.
Blazing with these letters R and H.
H. Just RH.
I think it's just RH.
Her firstborn whispered hoarse and barely heard, telling her this time, the only time in a timeless space. Her firstborn whispered hoarse and barely heard. Oh, it's the back of this letter.
I'm so sorry, Mom.
So sorry. Telling her this time, the only time in a timeless
I don't
space.
think-
No, I don't think so. Whispered
It's a time.
hoarse and barely heard.
Telling her this time, the only time in a timeless place.
Her firstborn.
I mean, Liam.
Yeah.
I can almost rest, but I cannot give up. I hear him. I think he's saying it's time to.
and then we don't have the rest of it.
That's what we're missing. We're missing the rest of this.
The only thing I can think of is 3 o'clock, because that's the time that the clock stopped on the previous thing, but we don't have.
No, it has to do with that note.
Yeah, it has to do with this. I don't know where the last bit of it would be.
It's time to something. Fuck it. I'm doing what I
Sure.
did before to see if there's something that we're missing. Because we are so close. Where's the rest of her notes?
This is the last bit of it right here.
This is the only thing that doesn't have any.
It was outside of the thing, and I did look up super neutral, and it's podcasting, but it's password protected.
First one whispered hoarsely and barely heard, telling you.
This
telling
is
her
it.
This.
All the capital letters.
No, they're just slightly off colored.
Okay, stop it. Get out of there. Get out. Do you see this? I tried to get her out. She tried to attack me.
I did what she asked. Now he.
I think it's here.
Now. Here. H. E. R. E. Y. E.
S. Here, yes. A. R. E. Darkness. O. N. Y. O. U.
Eyes are on you.
No, her eyes are on you.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Um,
That I have chills.
I hate
don't.
that.
what was the?
I've never.
What-
It's
a
nothing
different-
to do
It's
with.
the second message that he promised at the top. On top of this, it says, "I did what she asked. Now her eyes are on you." So the Blair Witch is now very aware of us. It doesn't help us with the time, though.
What about night? Wait, we still don't have the ending of the.
Time and a timeless place.
Because he said it's only been a day. Like, because he said it's only like always night for him, right?
Yeah, but what does that have to do with the firstborn?
It has to do with this. I just don't. I just want to see, make sure that we're on the right track.
I mean, we've got the first two things right. I just. The thing that's creeping me out is like I can start to see pictures coming into focus
Mm-hmm.
as we get more and more stuff correct. This is number 3.
Wait a minute.
No, number 4.
It's just 3. There's only 3. So there must.
Okay, well.
It's just these 3.
Okay, so I'm just gonna show you where the breakout is. So it starts here. Can. Almost. So
Can to
that's where
almost. Here. Okay, so rest. That's this one. Rest,
Rest.
to I.
but I cannot get.
And then hear him, and then
Hold
2.
on.
So
Hold on. No, I got it. I am actually in the wrong order.
That's what I was. What? Yeah.
I can hear him. I think it's him saying it's time to rest, but I cannot give up. I can feel Liam near me. I can almost. Yeah, so I think that these two should be reversed. So it's just can feel Liam near me. I can almost hear him. I think he is saying it's time to rest, but I can't give up.
And it just goes around in circles. I can feel Liam near me, but I can almost
Hear
hear
him in a
him. I
circle.
think he's saying it's time to rest, but I can't give up. I can feel Liam near me. Yes. All right. So
Rest.
rest.
The only time in a timeless place.
Yeah.
The truth has been spelled out by the one who carves. He is finished, but I am not. Tell me, detective, on whom my sights are fixed.
Us.
You. Me?
Me.
I'm just gonna say me and see what happens.
Oh, God.
Fuck off. Fuck all the way off. No. I didn't sleep for 2 nights after I watched the first Paranormal Activity. There's no way in hell I'm watching this video.
Come on, Derek.
Come sit. Put your shirt down before the
Yes, please don't show your nipples to the internet.
I felt better with it on.
I kind of have to pee.
I'm gonna go pee real quick before we start this. I'm gonna pee. I'll be right back.
Hurry up. Pee quick.
Do you want to pick up the flowers that you dropped, Derek?
That was Megan's.
In the vase?
It was not my fault they hit me.
You picked up. You tried to get the necklace again.
Make it look pretty. Don't forget Scully Boy.
Fuck off, dude.
This was also fun because we waited long enough to do this that I didn't remember the stuff that they had shown, like, out that came in those boxes.
Yeah.
Civ might get squeezed like toothpaste, but I'm ready. Lynx, where are you?
Lynx, come here, baby.
Squeezing a potato is only going to make you more stressed and oily.
Squeezing a potato. Okay. I'm so stressed out.
Hello. It's me.
Do we want to turn up the volume a little bit so we can hear better?
Yeah, Derek. Kitty, come here. Come on. Come on. Come here. Come here. Come here.
Okay, play that shit. Megan.
I'm also getting an emotional support animal. All right. Go.
Fuck you.
This is a message for the detective. I keep circling back to this exact pile of stones. I can only hope that a search party will find them too. My phone's light is useless in this dark. If this flashlight stops working before I find the boys, it might be over for me. But I know they're close. If I don't make it back, you can follow my trail based on this video. I keep seeing...
No, dude.
He has a little doll.
What is that? No.
You jumped over the rocks?
Tristan! Tristan! Trish, where are you?
There was a hand on that fucking tree.
That was all 4 of them. That had Hutch in it too. Or Hutch in it too.
Mm-hmm. They're all together now!
Alright, so we did exactly jack shit.
I told you!
Okay.
How do I escape out of
Escape. X.
Hello? You did?
No!
Why is she replying? I'm almost afraid to actually open it. It's gonna be like, I don't understand what you're saying or something.
Ah! It says help me! It says help me! All right. Hunter Killer Blair Witch Season 1, we did it. And I'm dead. Well, that was absolutely terrifying. And ended just like the movie with no answers. Where's Anthony? In Season 2.
The family's back together, though. We saw the father, the oldest. Like, you saw all 4 of them there at the end. So, really, it's a happy ending.
Yeah! Sure!
You know, show all the different things like all the different cool things.
I know, that's...
Mothman.
No, I know, but like I typed it in because I was like, that has to be something, and it's
It's a podcast.
yeah, but it's password protected. I don't have password unless. No.
Woo!
Oh. Oh, okay. It comes via email.
Ah, okay. Y'all. Thoughts?
Ugh, it's creepy shit.
Lots of cool pieces, though. Like the little totem
How do we
of
know?
Liam.
How do we know if we're done?
We're done. I mean,
Yeah, that's the finale.
Okay.
I mean, like, I think normally this whole set is $200.
Yeah, I don't know how much it is right now.
But sometimes you can get it on special. I mean, obviously you don't. If you watched us finish this, then you know how it ends. It's not going to end any other way. But I would say all in all, like based on this fucking stuff, like this is nice stuff. Like this is like pleather in a metal case.
Yeah.
The problem is, like,
I'm never gonna use any of this
Well,
shit.
Even the compass could have been just plastic, and it's
tin.
Like,
Yeah.
So, full disclosure, somebody from one of the marketing firms that work with them did reach out to us. So hopefully, we will be getting more of this on the stream. But I'm just thinking, like, can you imagine this becomes like a monthly thing of us having one of these to do? Like, not only would be this creepy though. Some of them are like Agatha Christie, like like
they do Nancy Drew.
Yeah, like they do. Like there's gonna be lots of different styles. But I'm just saying, like, I'm thinking about like our schedule. It's like Mondays are gonna be either like a legacy game or D&D. We have our first Wednesday of the month, which is Sovereignty. We're gonna have this on it. Like we're gonna have like 2 days to fill up of other board games at this rate.
Well, shit, dude. I mean, like, I liked it, but, like, fuck me.
I just want to play the second season of this. That's the one I want. And I told them that when I emailed them back today.
I want to play.
So, Monday, we're going to be playing the expansion to Destinies that is coming out on Tuesday. So Monday you can watch us play it, and Tuesday you can back it. Is on GameFound or Kickstarter? I think it's on GameFound.
They pushed back the date.
Oh,
to the 25th. But we can still play it. We still need to play it on Monday, so we can submit it in. Things for them.
But I mean, yeah. So Destinies is another one of those legacy things. Like if you watch us play it, you are gonna get spoiled on what the story is. But unlike this. If you get the Destinies expansion, yes, you'll be playing the same stories, but you'll be able to do it a different way. Yes, Monday we're going to be playing the new Destinies expansions, which is called Witchwood. And then, Wednesday, Friday, we're going to be doing
something.
Spoopy games. Steven got the new version of Haunting of Hill House, or whatever it's called.
Betrayal House on the Hill.
Betrayal House on the Hill. So we have that to play, and our other regular spooky games. So yeah, Spook Month continues, and then ready for back-to-back D&D Mondays. That'll be fun. My costume came in today.
It did.
Mine came in yesterday.
I haven't ordered mine yet.
You don't know what yours looks like yet. Oh my god.
I don't know how to end this stream. Like,
I'm stressed.
I'm going to go home. I'm going to watch the season finale of Rings of Power, and then I'm going to play Overwatch. That's what I'm going to do.
Chat, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I know it was more or less just us talking and reading things to you guys constantly. But hopefully it was entertaining a little bit and you guys enjoyed it. But yeah. Let's see. What time is it?
10:15.
Let's see. We'll find something to read.
For those interested in Derek's opinion, here's a free one. Season finale of She-Hulk. Incredibly disappointing.
You really led up to that thinking, like letting people think you were going to say something else and then switched it.
I mean, how many episodes were there? 6 or 8?
We're right into Wacky. They're playing Film Sovereignty.
Wow.
I made it.
So, we're right into our friends.
Wacky Tabaxi!
Because they're playing some Sovereignty. We love you guys. We'll be back here on Monday. Have an amazing weekend. Stay safe. Stay amazing. Don't go into the woods alone. Or do. I'm not your boss.
I wouldn't.
But don't send us like a note saying, hey, I need your help to find my missing child.
We will leave you alone.
Unless you're going to send me fun...
That's true. If you send me
fun
cool
little
stuff,
items,
like,
yeah. If
maybe.
there are clues...
If
to
you
where
send me
you
things
went.
that should be in police evidence... By the way, this police department is horrible.
Awful.
Help me, I sent a beanie.
For real, though, if you go missing, make sure you send us evidence. I would like the evidence to be unworn, like this. I don't want used things. So keep that in mind before you go missing.
But make sure that whatever you send us is also useful to find out where you are.
See. Yeah. There you go.
Alright. We love you guys. Have an amazing weekend. Bye, guys.
Love each other. We're happy to peace.
Bye!